Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to all who are present today. It is a pleasure to have you all here and welcome to UTM Architecture Open Day and International Webinar for Graduate 2022 and 2023, Upskilling for Professional Career Growth. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is IZIQ and I will be moderating the session today. And I'm glad to welcome our honourable guest speakers, Professor Emeritus Dato Architect Dr. ELIAS bin Saleh, who is a former Vice Chancellor of Genovasi University College, also a UTM Architecture alumni in 1973, and Mr. RAMESH Seshan, who is a Managing Director and Principal of Seshan Design Sendirian Berhad, also a UTM Architecture alumni in 1997. Together with us today is our Head of Architecture Program, Associate Professor Dr. Ali Sabrina, UTM lecturers, professional architects, our alumni, and of course the students of Bachelor Science of Architecture and Master of Architecture UTM. Thank you for attending our Architecture Program Open Day session 2022 and 2023. Now, before we go further into the procession of our event, may I invite the audience to invoke the Almighty and recite the Surah Al-Fatihah to bless our event. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. For your information, today is the start of our new semester, which is semester 1, session 2022 and 2023. And I believe that most of the UTM architecture students are already in campus. Nevertheless, we still have to do our program this morning online as it is more open for other schools, collaborators, and public to join this architecture open day. So before we begin, let me explain in brief regarding the procession of our event today. For the initiation, we are going to have a welcoming remark by our program director and followed by our webinar with two of our guest speakers invited today, Emeritus Professor Dato Architect Dr. ELIAS bin Saleh with the title Upscaling Architectural Education and Mr. Ramesh Seshan with the title Upscaling Architecture Graduate as Creative Designers and Entrepreneur. Subsequently, we're going to have 3 announcements for the Best Students Achievers and Design Works for Bachelor Science of Architecture, Master of Architecture and Master of Architecture Offshore Program for Semester 2, Session 2021 and 2022 before we end our session today. Now, without further ado, I would like to invite UTM Architecture Program Director, Associate Professor Dr. Sabrina Ismail for the welcoming remark. Please welcome Dr. Alice.
Thank you so much, the moderator, Dr. IZIQ AFIFI. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. Selamat pagi. Salam satu Malaysia and salam UTM Sanjungan Bangsa. Firstly, I would like to warmly welcome both UTM alumni as the honourable guest for today's event, Emeritus Professor Dato Architect Dr. ELIAS Saleh, who is the former Vice Chancellor of Genovasi University College, and also the UTM Architecture alumni graduated in year 1969. A little bit of correction down there. And also to Mr. Ramesh Seshan, who is my 1-year senior, the Managing Director and Principal of Seshan Design Sendirian Berhad, and also is the UTM Architecture alumni graduated in year 2000 for LAM Part 2. So to Dato and also to Mr. Ramesh, thank you so much. Thanks a zillion for actually accepting the UTM Architecture School invitation to welcome the new and current UTM Architecture student for the Semester 1 session 2022-2023. It is actually such a big honor to have Dato and Mr. Ramesh in this virtual gathering. I would like also to bid warm welcome to our 22 academic architecture staff, full-time and also part-time, all the degree and master students, we have local and international students, and to all who participate in today's occasion, as this online session is also open to the public to attend as part and parcel of promoting the UTM Architecture School at a bigger scale. So as we can see in the Webex online, today's virtual event is actually attended by almost 260 participants, including the UTM alumni and the public. And this session it really marks a new beginning for the UTM Architecture School, because the school indicates a total number of 25 international students for this semester, comprising of inbound and full-time students representing 9 countries. We have students from Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, and also Sri Lanka. So welcome to all international students for your first day in UTM. And these international students will also be studying alongside with 229 local students from Bachelor Science of Architecture program Lampard 1, and we have about 67 local students in Masters of Architecture Lampard 2. So the UTM Architecture School, as you can see, we will try to expand its local student populace by 30% yearly, and actually will increase the 20% intake, especially for the international students annually. And we will also gradually increase the number of our academic experts in preparation to become the top 30 architecture school in the world by the year 2030. So for this semester intake, we actually had increased the number of candidates by offering 41 places to new students to enter UTM Architecture School from matriculation and also from STPM, and 60 places given to new students from diploma qualification. So this is also the part of UTM Architecture School vision, because we want to expand to become the renowned architecture school in the country by offering the appropriate ratio student per lecturer as required by Lembaga Architect Malaysia in maintaining the quality of students and the standard of the architecture program. So as you all know, at current standing for the year 2023, the UTM Architecture School is ranked top 50 to 100 in the QS World Ranking by subject. And our UTM Architecture School is top 30 in Asia. And we are also the top 1 architecture school in Malaysia, leading at the forefront. So we have the best architecture curriculum, and we will continuously aim actually to produce the best among the best graduates as professional architects and leaders for the nation. So I would like to say to those two new students, local and international students who actually managed to enter our architecture program, please give yourself a big hand of applause. Congratulations, well done, because you should be proud of yourself to be selected from thousands of applicants through an extensive selection process. And all of you have been given the best opportunity to be in the leading architecture school in Malaysia. And also we are actually top 50 to 100 in the world. So keep your ambition high, work smart, and actually treasure your study years at UTM. So the UTM Architecture School vision will actually strive to be well recognized locally, internationally, and we will have a lot of collaborations and partnerships with the industry, with the community, and with the top prominent architecture school across 5 continents, with Asia, Europe, North America, Australia, and also Africa by the year 2030. And currently, our UTM Architecture School have signed an MOU and MOA with the top public architecture school in India. Like we have our partners from SRM Institute Technology, Vellore Institute Technology, and SASI Creative School of Architecture. And also we have our partners from Universitas Negeri Malang in Indonesia. And following suit, we will have our partners from Brno University Teknologi in Czechoslovakia, Walaila University from Thailand, National University Science Technology from Pakistan, Ciputra Universitas Surabaya, Indonesia, and also the top 30 or 40 university in the world, which is University of Sheffield in UK. So in adding to that, UTM Architecture School will also strengthen ties with local agencies and corporate bodies like UEM Sunrise, the biggest developer in Malaysia. So this collaborative networking connection is actually vital, not only to increase visibility for the architecture school, and also the students and the academic staff will actually work together to reach out to the society through a lot of community service responsibility projects to help the local and international community in need. And for example, for the past semester, our UTM architecture students had done collaborative international community engagement projects with Vellore Institute Technology in Chennai in India by developing Community Park in Chennai. And this semester we'll also conduct Community Service Responsibility projects with the National University Science Technology in Islamabad in Pakistan in designing community spaces for the unfortunate people in Islamabad. And also, we will look forward to work together with UEM Sunrise, the biggest developer in Malaysia, to redesign learning facilities for the unfortunate primary schools in Gelang Patah and also in Pendas. So UTM Architecture School is unique because we actually adopt the concept of living lab studio. And the living lab studio that we apply since the COVID time actually is a mode of learning in which the whole world is the studio. So after 2 years of COVID living and studying in silo, this semester the school will broaden the students' horizon, and we will do a lot of promotion, collaborative academic study trips and visits for students who are interested in joining. And in the month of December this year, 2022, UTM architecture students will have the opportunity to visit India and be with our collaborative partner school, Vellore Institute Teknologi, and learn about India architecture, heritage, and culture in a 6-day trip. And in September, during the summer school time, the UTM students also can go to Europe and learn about the heritage cultural trip with our partner from Sheffield University. And we also have another trip also in the month of September 2023, where the students can have time to go to Indonesia, Surabaya, to learn the art and culture heritage with Universitas Negeri Malang. So all students, please grab this opportunity, and staffs also, because you need to broaden your horizon. And it's very important for you to become designers with a sense of human touch by understanding and experiencing other cultures. So as you all know, UTM Architecture Program is the pioneer in the country. And for the past 66 years, we have been producing a lot of successful graduates. And currently, we have almost 20,000 architecture alumni. And these architecture alumni is actually the backbone that support the university. And one such good example today, we have two prominent figures, Mr. RAMESH Seshan here, and also DATO ELIAS, also is the prominent figure of our UTM alumni. So for the coming graduates for BSc and Masters, do enroll and register and be part of SIGA. SIGA is our Special Interest Group Architecture Alumni, because it is an important platform actually that can nurture networking among UTM alumni graduates and enrich collaboration between a lot of parties. So this semester, our UTM Architecture School actually will have a dedicated space also for a 24-hour studio. And for these important facilities, we will actually accommodate and give the best facilities for students to work face-to-face in studio, especially in this 24-hour studio. So we had done a lot of work actually to refurbish and actually renovate these 24-hour studios. And I hope all students will actually given a big opportunity to use this studio for the best and for the functional and purposeful uses. So along with this side, I would like also to say thank you so much to Dato ELIAS for your kind generosity towards the UTM Architecture School, because as so many for the first time in many years, the students finally have a dedicated, conducive 24-hour studio space. With your help, Dato, thank you so much. And even though at the moment the size for the 24-hour studio is actually limited, which can fit in only 70 students based on first come, first basis, but we will give much priority, especially to the final year students. So we will try to actually open up a lot of studios, and we'll try to refurbish more for the betterment of teaching and learning for our students in UTM. So as you can see, for your information also, our UTM Architecture School actually have a special endowment fund, and we open this special endowment fund for teaching and learning purposes. And this is very important also to have the B40 students, architecture students in UTM also. And we actually pledge for those who are willing to contribute and need also your support to elevate the school. Kindly please do so. Visit our website. The special endowment fund is in the website, and we actually accept as low as 5 ringgit for your contribution and for your donation. So all of us need to work together hand in hand. We need to maintain the rank of UTM Architecture School as top 1 in Malaysia, top 30 in the world by year 2030. And we need to work together, because if you want to walk fast, you walk alone. But if you want to walk far, you have to walk together. Bulat air kerana pembentung, bulat manusia kerana muafakat. So I hope international student, you will understand the Malay phrase, work together. So for the current and soon graduating students, the future is very bright ahead. The knowledge that you had gained during your study years has well prepared you to be individual, to venture into a lot of fields. So get involved, have a growth mindset, be genuinely curious, make the connection, build the relationship, and take the lead in the community.
This meeting is being recorded.
So with that, I would like to say thank you so much, and I wish everyone the very best and good luck. So thank you so much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So thank you all. So with that, I would like to pass it back to the moderator, Dr. IZIQ.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Dr. Alice, for the welcoming remark. Now, as the event opener, let us enjoy the UTM Architecture Program corporate video and also SIGA Alumni corporate video. Dr. PC, the room is yours.
UTM Architecture School is a community.
UTM Architecture School is creative.
UTM Architecture School is innovative.
UTM Architecture School is multicultural.
UTM Architecture School is empowered.
UTM Architecture School is fun.
UTM Architecture School is artistic.
UTM Architecture School is educational.
I love UTM Architecture School. I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
I love UTM Architecture School.
This is UTM Architecture School. We love architecture!
Join us and be among the best.
Universiti Teknologi Malaysia Architecture School upholds the UTM Architecture alumni as they genuinely support the institution. The UTM Architecture School alumni are the brand ambassadors of Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. An active alumni association like SIGA, which stands for Special Interest Group Architecture Alumni, is a great contributor that can provide valuable financial, intellectual, and human resources and provide solid support to enhance architecture education at Universiti Teknologi Malaysia.
As top management of UTM, we strongly support the SIGA establishment. SIGA support is meaningful to UTM in making vast difference that changes the future path of UTM and UTM Architecture School. Come and join SIGA. All the best to SIGA to deliver none other than excellent.
Leveraging the SIGA alumni community is a win-win situation for UTM and the alumni. An influential alumni network like SIGA will ensure that the architecture alumni are a significant stakeholders. Best wishes to SIGA. SIGA will inspire others for better tomorrow.
SIGA, Special Interest Group Architecture Alumni, is under the banner of UTM Alumni, specifically for the architecture graduates of UTM and its predecessors, that is, Institute Teknologi Kebangsaan and Technical College. It aims to build a continuous relationship between the architecture graduates with UTM, socially and professionally at national and international levels. SIGA welcomes all architecture graduates to come forward to establish a lifelong relationship between the alumni and the university holistically. We hope UTM and SIGA will make a difference to the community and society for a better tomorrow.
SIGA's mission is to serve and collaborate with the school's administrations, academic members, and students to ensure architectural education at UTM becomes the most preferred place to study and to venture infinite possibilities for charitable, educational, and scientific purposes for the betterment of architecture field and discipline. SIGA's mission is to provide continuous commitment, involvement, and financial support to UTM School of Architecture. Therefore, SIGA seeks to expand connections, striving for endless possibilities towards fostering UTM community of architectural alumni.
We are proud of our UTM Architecture alumni, and at present the school has produced 65 batches of architecture graduates comprising thousands of UTM Architecture alumni serving various government and private sectors since its establishment as Maktab Teknik in 1955 till present.
UTM alumni aspire future generation. I love SIGA.
SIGA the best. SIGA the best.
SIGA is the best.
SIGA the best.
SIGA is the best.
SIGA is the best.
Come and join SIGA.
Thank you very much to the technical team. And I would like to say thank you for the IT team for the montage coordination and preparation for today. For your information, SIGA is an abbreviation for Special Interest Group Architecture Alumni. And once students graduate, they need to join SIGA as alumni member to contribute back to UTM Architecture School. There are many benefits to joining SIGA, such as networking, work employability, and many more. So to the students and alumni, do join SIGA, and the membership is always open from time to time. Now it is time for me to introduce our guest speakers today. Our first speaker, Emeritus Professor Dato Architect Dr. ELIAS bin Saleh.
Being recorded.
Is a fellow member of Pertubuhan Architect Malaysia who had served in various academic and management capacities in 5 local public universities, including as the Deputy Vice Chancellor of UUM and as the Vice Chancellor of Genovasi University College from 2020 to 2021. He had successfully supervised numerous undergraduate and postgraduate architectural students and was involved in numerous research projects, consultancy, and publications on sustainable architecture, environmental design, energy issues, and architectural heritage. He is also a founding member of the Malaysia Green Building Council, MGBC, and was a board member of Green Building Index Sendirian Berhad. He was conferred Emeritus Professor by UTM and honored with the inaugural Architecture Education Award by Lembaga Architect Malaysia. And currently, Dato' ELIAS is in retirement. So without wasting any more time, it is now for the time of the webinar with our guest speaker. For the audience, should you have any question to our speakers, please type in your question in the chat box section at the bottom right corner of the Webex window, and I will read your question according to the time availability. Now, I would like to invite Emeritus Professor Dato Architect Dr. ELIAS bin Saleh to give his lecture with the title Upskilling Architectural Education. Please welcome Dato ELIAS, and the Webex is yours.
Hello.
Dr. ELIAS,
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and salam Malaysia. Thank you, Dr. Isaac, for the introduction, and I must thank in the first place, I must thank the organizers, Dr. ELIAS especially, for inviting me to this occasion. I was very hesitant initially to accept because I've been in retirement for since last year, full retirement. Before that, I was in the University College before I left because the ownership changed. So after considering the invitation, I wasn't sure whether I should accept it or not. But then looking back, I think this is my last chance perhaps to share some of the ideas that have resulted from my many years of involvement in architectural education, as well as in academic generally, since 1973. And also because I'm also among the oldest alumni of UTM when it was Technical College. I think I was second last batch in 1969 to receive the diploma in building design, which was also accorded the RIBA intermediate examination exemption at that time, equivalent to part 1, which I was among the those who qualified. So in those days, Technical College also had the advantage of having the institutional recognition from Britain in the engineering as well as architect. I think US also. So anyway, eventually I decided to accept and to put in some ideas. So within a short span of time, I have not been doing much reading on architecture, but it's from whatever I have gathered along the way. I'm trying to put some ideas of how to upscale or to look at architectural education in another angle or as an alternative to what we have now. So here it is. The last time that I gave kind of presentation related to this was about 2 years ago. Can we have the next slide, please? Yes, this was on 22nd December on envisioning architecture education in Malaysia. And I was given this title to deliberate technology competency in the environment, along with Tan Sri Dato' Isa Muhammad. So he was talking more about the professional aspect of it. So I would like to start with referring to these slides of mine. So there were some ideas from there, but I would like to proceed from there. So can we have the next slide? Oh, okay. Okay. I started by looking at the architecture technology, looking at the. No, I'm having problem here because there are some disturbances in the image. I do not know how to. Okay, they are blocking my view of the slides. Okay, architectural technology, these are the normal subjects, the educational technology, and especially I was emphasizing on the role of micro-credential, I think, which has come into existence, and I think this has got a special relevance that we should take on, and of course the pedagogy of education. And then we have the, again, I have got my slide blocked by some image here. Okay, can you go to the next slide? These are just a recapping of my last presentation. So these are the conventional architectural technology subjects that that we are being exposed to. This has not changed very much. Yeah, there are some variations, and then the teaching tools have changed. Yeah, they've changed a lot from manual to AutoCAD and so on. And we also have 3D printing. Especially we have the BIM, which is a must now. So that is something that we should look after. And I think the next speaker, Mr. Ramesh, Architect Ramesh, will be talking more about this, I think. And of course, we have other digital resources, especially softwares that help architects, also engineers in their design work, especially in simulation work, so on. Can we have the next slide, please? So at the end of that talk, I was listing some keywords that should be some keywords that should be taken into serious account in how to enhance or how to proceed with architectural education in terms of digitalization, in terms of circular economy, in terms of improving advanced technology, in terms of also lifestyle. At that time, I think it was the pandemic has set in, or not yet. Has set in, yeah. Not yet. At the beginning of the 2020, yeah. And also, one of the important aspects was the preference of competencies over qualifications. I think employers, they look for more of the skills of the graduates rather than the degree or the whatever they have. And lastly, lifelong learning and lifelong learning. That is something that we will go into, that we should take into account, especially in current days. Next slide, please. So I did some work and I came across this document by RIBA, Royal Institute of British Architects, which was published in around the same time that we did that presentation, which was in 2020. And this is something that RIBA has prepared for their context. Yeah? So they are encouraging architects or architectural educator or students on your journey to qualification. Please explore the way ahead for lifelong learning for architects to set out in this document, and it last with change is due and change is here. This is in Britain. Yeah? Next slide, please. So change is due in Britain, and they have this document to go forward. Yeah. So are we ready for this? Do we have this? Change is due, I think. Also, there should be alternative ways of looking at architectural education, and taking cue from this document, I am putting some ideas of what I see should be an alternative to our conventional architectural education is for consideration. Of course, I have not, there's a lot of work to be done, but this is what I have to share, whether it is worth considering or not. Next, please. Okay, there are 5 levels as laid down here for architecture students, but especially those who are new, who are coming into this profession, the new students. The first is you as a student. This is part 1, yeah, 3 years. Secondly, there will be the second stage where you are emerging professional as assistants with your part 1 and part 2. And thirdly, when you have your part 3, the Lembaga Architect examination part 3, you will be an established architect, a professional architect, beyond below 5 years. And then above 5 years, you are considered as experienced architect. You know, you're 5 to 10 years. And then beyond that, you can become your own boss. You have your own business. You can be partner, director of architectural firms, or even in other companies, yeah, related companies. Next, please. So this is the framework that Ariba has prepared for their context. Yeah? I don't intend to go into details, but they have listed here what are the contents at various levels, also what are the end products. Next, please. Yes, next slide, please. Okay. So architects and architectural students must have, they need the mindset, the knowledge, the skills, competence, and experience required to respond to the challenges facing our new world today. Likewise, next, please. Architecture education has to move faster and smarter. I think we have been stagnant for many years, and not only about teaching how to use the latest tools, but also how to be part of the new world. I think we have to contribute beyond architecture field, beyond the, because you have a role to play. There are new challenges, and we have to be more relevant. Next, please. Okay, here can we have the first one only? don't list out all yet. Yeah, can we have the? Yeah, okay, 10 years and destiny. Okay, when you set out, especially the new students, you should plan for the next 10 years. Yeah, from year 1 to year 10. That is how your path would be. Yeah? And your destiny to be a professional architect full-time. This is the conventional way. Next slide, please. Conventional full-time, for to become a professional architect, you have to go through first 3 years of BSc. Can we just have a top one first? Just professional architect. Yeah, we don't want to look at others. Okay, so you need to have the BSc. I'm still having problem because there are some images coming blocking my view. The part 1, and then followed by 1 year of practical, and then your 2 years of masters, part 2, and followed by 2 years of further practice in order to get your part 3. So at least 8 years, and 3 years or at least 5 years, you need funds. You need money to go through your education, and this is something that can be a burden to some. Anyway, this is what the route to become professional architect. Another route would be to become, next slide please, academic and researcher. And this is where you have the same first 3 years BSc architecture part 1, and then this will be followed by at least 1 year or 2 years of masters before you proceed to your doctorate, 3 years of doctor of philosophy or any doctorate. Only those with doctorate or PhDs are recognized as full lecturers. So this is a requirement. But some institutions, they expect lecturers to have both Doctor of Philosophy or doctorate as well as part 3. This is a tall order, which some can manage to do it. But it is, I think, unfair to expect a lecturer to have both, whereas they can actually, you can have different candidates for a different role. Okay, that is the conventional model that can go on, that is going on, that can be improved, has been improved within this model, within this structure. So what I'm intend to propose is an alternative model, taking into account lifelong learning as well. So we have full time plus part time. Can you have the next slide? Okay, this is my proposal, whether it can be worth it to consider. But this is I think, as an alternative, which I was planning to do when I was the Vice Chancellor of Universiti, especially the part two onwards. So we have the common 3 years undergraduate part one, but this has to be enhanced in order to prepare the students for the second stage, where they will be doing part-time while in employment, full employment. So they will not be burdened by having to look for fund to get to do your masters or the 2-year degrees. This is one of the problems that I noticed some students face when they wanted to proceed with the masters or part two. They could get fund for loan for the first 3 years, but difficulty for the second stage. So what I'm proposing here is that students need only to do the 3 years full-time in campus, face-to-face perhaps, make full use of their presence there and the advantages of having in a campus. And then beyond that, they go on to employment, but we have to prepare them for employment. They must have the skills that will make them employable, easily employable. So, okay, the next stage is what I have in mind is a professional MBA architecture, the new look, a new qualification that will combine both the PEM part, the Lembaga part 2 and LAM part 3. But also we have to include subjects or those aspects that will make them to be considered for MBA. MBA is a benchmark for qualification in corporate world. So this is an MBA, professional MBA in architecture, which is recognized by Lembaga Architect as well as other corporate bodies. This is what I hope can be done. And beyond that, the candidate with this qualification or other master qualification, or at least part 3, they can go on to do their doctorate or Doctor of Architecture by coursework as well as project, also part-time. So this will give them the opportunity to be in academic as well. But now part 3 alone is not recognized in academic. So okay, the next route, another route would be just to have the part 1. That means the 3 years full time, and then beyond that, the graduate will be in employment in maybe in other non-architectural or related fields, while they are also pursuing other further qualification degrees and so on. Or they can be on their own, can be self-employed, they can be entrepreneurs. Some have made it successfully. So architects, to me, should not confine themselves only in architecture or the built environment. They can also contribute in other fields with their competencies. So now let us go on to what contents should be in these 3 phases: the part 1, the 3 years, the second 4 years, and the third 3 years. Can we go on to the next slide, please? Just the first one. Yeah, I'm having difficulty here. So this image is blocking my view. Okay. Anyway, let's have the content or my proposed content or what should contribute to BSc architecture, the new BSc architecture. Next slide, please. Just the first one. Okay. I think architecture students, being in the design field, should start with the mindset of design thinking. Design thinking is something that is recognized beyond even design field. in corporate bodies and so on. So being critical or critical thinking alone is not enough. You have to have a mindset of design thinking, the process that is used by designers. But this process has been accepted by even other discipline as a good problem solving method. So design thinking mindset is something that is acceptable, would be applicable in many areas apart from design alone. So I think we should start our students by embedding in them this kind of beyond critical thinking, design thinking when you look at problems. So start with design thinking mindset. Of course, you have the architectural design methodology to do the projects, design project, various type of design projects, design problems, and so on. But what we should emphasize here are the number 3 and 4, that is digital skills and BIM skills. And to me, this is a must for these 3 years to prepare them for their employment so that they will be easily employable when they graduate beyond the 3 years. So apart from that, we have other subjects, building technology and so on. So, okay, can we go on to the next one, next level? This is a full-time in campus, and we have prepared them for employment. So now they are in employment, and I think this is the level that they have to go beyond design thinking. They have to have a mindset of exponential thinking. This is something that is related to innovation, that you look for not only incremental but beyond that, 10 times that exponential thinking in order to proceed or to progress, advance in your work. Also, you have to look at circular design methodology. So this is something to address the sustainable development. Circular economy has set in, as mentioned in my earlier presentation, about 2 years ago. Yeah. So circular economy, how does it fit into built environment? And there is a guide, circular design guide, developed in Britain by I forgot the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. So this is another approach that you have to look in total for sustainable development, where circular economy addresses first the principle of circular economy is design out waste. So the word design comes in even in circular economy. Right from the beginning, when you are thinking of a product, you have to think of the waste, design out waste. And so that is the first principle. Anyway, that is another topic that needs another webinar, perhaps. And thirdly, I think these students need to have research literacy. Have to do you have to know how to do research, and then of course they have to be aware of technological advancement. They have to be aware of legal and regulatory, statutory, and literacy. And the last two, this is where they have to. This is their core business, their strength. Yeah, they have to be literate in business. They have, of course, to be for part 3 to be professionally qualified. They have professional skill. They have to have ethics, and they have to comply with whatever there is in the professional role. So this is something that I think as an alternative we should look at this to consider this. Of course, the list is not exhaustive. Yeah? This is just my initial thoughts, but what I thought is important at this stage, where number 6 and 7 will also enable these graduates with the MBA to be involved in other aspects other than architecture, with their strength, with their competencies in business as well as in professional aspects, with those mindset and consideration of circular economy and so on. They will be, I think, very much employable, or also they can play leading roles in corporate world as well. So the next stage is the third stage with the doctorate level. Next slide, please. Okay, this is where to me the specializations should take place. We go into looking at well-being and comfort. These are the issues in architecture, especially and the environment, housing, social aspect, environment. We have climate change, or now they call it climate emergency rather than climate change. And then of course we have the heritage that is ongoing all the time. And then of course universal design, that is another up and coming concern in our society. And we can this has to be designed in such a way that it is a thought course and with projects, especially case studies. So this is my thoughts about how to look alternatively at the architecture education, how to go forward. Basically emphasizing on only 3 years compulsory campus-like education where they make full use of the facilities and to get skills, especially certified skills that will make them very much employable. Beyond that, I think they should use lifelong learning process, and we have to prepare this for them, especially I think with micro credentials and other type of deliveries, maybe a mixed hybrid deliveries that can that will help them along to get the qualification. So this is the model that I'm proposing for consideration, for discussion, that I think is something that to look at. Okay, next please. Next slide. So the next one is the next slide, please. Hello. Okay. Okay. I came across this this article or this document, Architectural Education in the 21st Century Asia, How to Learn Architecture. But this is a book that will only come out in July next year by architect Tay Keng Soon. I think he is not he is very he's famous. He's well known. I think he is also familiar with that with UTM. When I was there, he came over. He wanted to do some project with us at that time. But I think you should take advantage of this. Why not invite him? You are very near to Singapore. Invite Mr. Tay to UTM to talk about his book before the book come out next year. You have the advantage. Okay, Dr. Alice. So I have not gone into this because I just came across this. I thought this is something that can help us. He's got a lot of ideas. I have talked to him. I have discussed with him when I was doing the Innovation Park at that time outside on the other side of the road. And he came over. He wanted to do some development together with UTM at that time. He had got fantastic ideas. Okay. I think there is something that you should proceed. Okay. Next slide, please. I think that is about all my, I would like to end with some keywords. First, design thinking. Second, digital and BIM skill set. Next one, exponential thinking. Next one, technological innovation or advancement. Next one, circularity in the built environment, circular economy in the built environment. Of course, professional and business competencies. And lastly, lifelong learning. So these are the keywords that I would focus and that influence my thinking while preparing for this presentation. So that's all what I have to say, Dr. Alice and Dr. Isaac. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Elias, for the sharing. Okay. So once again to the audience, if you have any question to the guest speakers, don't be shy to type in your question in the chat box section at the bottom right corner of the Webex window, and I will read your question later during the Q&A session. And also to the students, the attendance form is already up in the chat box. You can start filling your details for the attendance and make sure you use your UTM email only. Okay. So thank you again, Dr. Elias. We will proceed with the second guest speaker, and after that, we're going to have a Q&A session with the speakers. Yeah. So we proceed to our second speaker, Mr. RAMESH Seshan. He is our alumni, graduated with bachelor's degree in architecture from Universiti Teknologi Malaysia (UTM). He worked with Unit 1 Design Sendirian Berhad from 1996 to 2006 and has been involved in several award-winning projects and international projects before venturing into academia, where he became a lecturer in Lim Kok Wing for roughly around 2 years before setting up his own practice, Seshan Design. Realizing that he couldn't go on as a solo practitioner, he then collaborated with Semua Holding Group to start a custom design group, Sendirian Berhad, with him as the design director. And in 2012, he started afresh with his trusted team to set up Seshan Design Sendirian Berhad, who is now 20 members strong, with offices in Petaling Jaya and recently opened branch office in Kota Kinabalu. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mr. RAMESH Seshan to give his lecture with the title Upscaling Architecture Graduates as Creative Designers and Entrepreneur. Please welcome Mr. RAMESH, and the Webex is yours.
Thank you, IZIQ. Okay, hang on, give me a sec. Okay, I just did one small adjustment. I'm changing the title a bit. So basically, it's still upskilling architecture graduates, but it's more on towards tips for entrepreneurs or about starting your own practice. So I'll be talking a bit about how I started my own practice and some ideas. I suppose the two main topics were how to get jobs and how to charge clients. So I think we'll just keep it to that. Okay, hang on. Let me just share. How do you do this? Sorry, hang on, give me a second. Just this guy, sorry. How do you do this?
So, Mr. RAMESH, take the time.
Stream. And then, how do I go to the browser? This one. Share. Okay, then slideshow from beginning. Okay, cool. Can everyone see this?
Yes, Mr. RAMESH, we can see.
Okay, sorry, because I can't see myself, so okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay, anyway, hang on, let me increase volume. Is it clear? It's clear.
I think you need to make it full screen. Presentation mode, I think.
Where is it? Hang on. It's already on full screen though. Is it?
Nope, not yet. It's still in the PowerPoint window. I think you have to click the presentation mode.
Let me get out. Sorry. Let's stop sharing first. We should on the screen. Yeah. I should share on the screen or share on the application on the screen, is it?
You can share application, I think. Just the application. Yeah, just the application.
Okay. Share maybe entire screen, correct? Okay.
Yeah, it's connecting. Window. Yes.
Oh, is it still? It's still showing the window, is it?
Yeah, still sharing the window. I think you can click the button at the zoom in and zoom out bar at the bottom right corner. There's a button there on the left.
Well, on the videos. Go back to the PowerPoint. Anyway, while we're trying to figure this one out, okay, just a bit of disclaimer. So whatever I'm sharing with you now, with all of you now, is more on what I've experienced personally. So it's from a point of view of a small practice, a solo practitioner, and basically I started off a small practice. So obviously those who plan to join corporate offices, you probably have a different sort of experience and line and track. But I suppose the objective of me giving this talk is also because not everyone wants to work with a big office, and I think many might probably want to try out to set up on your own as soon as they can. And this is just one way of one option of showing them what can potentially happen. Hang on. Yes. I don't know. This is just. I think share it again.
Cannot. There's nothing there. I want to see where is the PowerPoint now.
Oh.
Mr. Ramesh, if there's too much problem, I think you can just share your PowerPoint slide to us and we can open it for you. Just like Dato' ELIAS earlier.
Yeah, because first time using Webex. Usually Zoom, I don't have this problem so much. How big is the file? Quite big, is it? Oh, the file's quite big. No, but I think it worst comes to worst, like I had it like this now, even if the screen is not full, I think still okay, right?
Should be fine, I think. Should be fine.
Why it can't come up now? Oh, let's share the screen, so. Let me just push it into.
I think here is missing. Can you leave and come back again?
Okay, can I come out and come back in again?
Okay, sure, Mr. Ramesh, no problem. Okay, while we are waiting, I think if you guys have any question to ask to our first speaker, you can just type in your question in the chat box section and I will read your question later on. Okay. So for the students, I think the attendance, you guys only need to use your UTM email, but I will ask my team to actually open the Google form to all. So I believe for the first year students don't have UTM email yet, right? Or you guys don't know where to get your UTM email. So we will open the Google form later on.
Or maybe Dr. IZIQ, while waiting for that, while waiting for Ramesh, maybe we can just pick up one question. I have one interesting question here in the chat box from Architect Hazirun Hamid. Maybe he wants to give this question to Dato' ELIAS. Is Dato' here, Dato'?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is a very
Okay,
interesting question. Yeah.
Okay.
So the question is, I've always wondered why does university in overseas, such as in the UK, has better ranking than Malaysia whilst having fewer classes and credit hours? Speaking from actual experiences.
Well, I am, yeah.
So any comments on that, Dato' ELIAS?
I think just like the university's ranking, it is done by somebody, you know, and that somebody is not here. That somebody is in the UK in their own context. So I think that is one of the reasons, you know, who does the ranking and likewise how is it done? How thorough is it? A level playing field in terms of evaluation? So that is my answer. That is my simple answer as far as I know. You know, I may not be right. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Dr. ELIAS. Very short and simple answer.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, we have more questions. We have 3 more questions actually. So while waiting for Mr. Ramesh to handle the technical problem, I think we can just go with the Q&A session. Okay, question number 2. How do you think we could include transdisciplinary collaboration within design studios in school for students to explore ideas beyond architecture? Dr. ELIAS?
Yes, interdisciplinary.
How do you think we could include transdisciplinary collaboration within design studios in school for the students to explore ideas beyond architecture?
Oh, beyond architecture. That means interdisciplinary, you will include all the other discipline within the construction industry lah, I think. Yeah. So I think BIM or in design studio, design studio. You look at BIM, BIM already integrate all the disciplines, in the building industry. You have the engineers there also using the same platform, using the same, and then also QS and so on. So in terms of studios, I suppose, yeah, this is something that cannot be easily done, But I suppose when you have a real life project, that is when I think where you really need other disciplines to be involved, and that is one possibility, a real life project that will involve real life decisions. You need real life interdisciplinary or teamwork in order to get the work done. I'm not sure whether that answers the question. It cannot be done in every project. It can be done only in certain projects, I think. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Elias, for the answer. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so we have two more questions, Dr. Elias. The first one, the third one is actually, what is the expectation for the current new graduates to equip themselves in the market? What is the expectation for the current new graduates?
I am not an employer. So perhaps this can be answered by the next speaker.
Mr. Ramesh.
So okay. Ramesh, he is an employer, and he's been talking about how he evaluate candidates and so on. So one of them, I think, is one of the, as mentioned in my slide, the skill. Skill is more important than your qualification. You may have doctorate, but if your skill is not there, your doctorate, you can become a lecturer. But in terms of the other employment, I think they are looking at the skill, what special skill you have, what specific skill you have that they can capitalize on to be the employee, yeah. So I think what Mr. Ramesh will be talking about is very relevant. Upskilling, looking at skills of the graduate.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Elias. Okay, one last question. One last question for now. Okay, how to develop knowledge, understanding on building technology, especially for bachelor science students, as they are still not exposed to the real life industry practice?
I remember when we were teaching in the 70s, we have students looking at real life construction, or rather monitoring real life construction. At least even a small building, but at least they, apart from looking at the drawings, they go to sites to monitor the development of construction. That is one way, And of course, the other way would be to involve with manufacturers of products, to understand products, invite them or visit them. We used to visit even factories last time, bring students to, let's say, Alcom or whatever it is, building material manufacturers, so on. So apart from that, nowadays technology is very wide. So you have to involve industry in this. Apart from involving with practicing architects, you could involve with product manufacturers, or even those doing softwares, in the current context. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Elias. Okay, now I think Mr. Ramesh already settled the problem, right? I can see the full screen already. Okay, Mr. Ramesh, if you are ready.
Okay. Can you
the
hear?
room is yours. Yes, no problem.
Cool. Yep. Okay. So you can all see me on the other screen, and I can watch on this. So good. Okay. So good morning, all. Thank you, Alice, IZIQ, Prof. ELIAS. Okay, so basically what I'm just going to tweak the title a bit. That's what I said before. So this is going to be more tips from an entrepreneur starting up your own practice. But before we go to that, hang on. Next page. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, so today's topic, I'll talk about the three main items: history of session design, how I started into going to my own practice, getting jobs, and basically the more fun part is basically how to charge clients and how not get played over or screwed over by clients. Okay, before that, let's go into a bit of my history. Okay, so this is a simple diagram I did a few years ago when I was giving a talk. I've updated it somewhat. So just let's start here. So basically, back in I actually joined UTM back in '93, and in '97 was actually when I graduated with our diploma, and that's actually when I started to work. I took a year off and I started working in Uni 1 Design. So when I was in Uni 1 Design, just as another note, I also extended for 2 years before I graduated with my part 2. The reason for that is because after I joined Uni 1 after my diploma, I actually spent a lot of time in practice. And it was almost that I was working full-time and studying part-time. So that's why I took another 5 years before I completed my part 2. So that's why, so in theory, if you think about the time I practiced, was actually from '97 all the way until 2007 in the same office, Uni 1 Design. But again, it was actually quite good because what happened was, instead of applying what I learned in university to practice, it was kind of a bit of both. I also applied a lot of what I learned in practice back into my schoolwork. So that was actually quite interesting. Yes, it's time consuming, but again, architecture is it's a process that you have to experience. It's not something you can just get it done fast. I want to finish in 2 years and stuff. It doesn't quite work that way. So anyway, after 10 years, almost 10 years in Unit 1, in January 2007, I left Unit 1 thinking I wanted to join an international firm. At this point of time, I was still single, no kids, no commitment. So I thought, what the heck, time for me to travel. And during that time, our dear friends in Ling Kok Wing, the men in black, I had a lot of my friends who were actually lecturers in Ling Kok Wing, and at the same time, when I was in Unit 1, I was a senior architect in that office. So I'm one of the few in the office who actually interviews all potential graduates. And I always used to complain to UTM, my friends in Ling Kok Wing, that why are your graduates so problematic or not up to par? So when they found out that I had left Unit 1, the first thing they called me and they said, since you're always complaining about Ling Kok Wing graduates, why not you come and do something about it? So I thought, okay, why not? So I actually joined Ling Kok Wing. And then when I was in Ling Kok Wing, because I came straight from practice, I have about 10 years of experience. They put me into something called industry head. They all said and done about whatever you have to say about Tan Sri Ling Kok Wing and all that. There is a few things that they did that was actually quite good. And one of the things that Ling Kok Wing was very good at was trying to merge the industry with university education life syllabus. That means they used to get live projects and get students to work on live projects. So since I came straight from industry, I was actually part of that. I became the industry head for architecture and interiors, basically to get live projects involved. And then, okay, so you might be wondering, what has this got to do with the whole thing about me getting married and this whole love? It's actually, this has everything to do about how I started work. So what happened was, so back in 2007, when I just joined Unit 1, I started dating my then wife, okay, and decided to get married and all that kind of stuff. But okay, side topic, as you all know, as Asians, our weddings are never our own wedding. It's always our parents' wedding. Our parents will decide who to invite and blah, blah, blah kind of stuff. So my wife and I, we decided, no. We want to have our own wedding. So the best way is we do a destination wedding. So we decided, hey, let's have a wedding in Bali where we can invite people, but we know they won't show up. But then the problem is money. Where are we going to get money from? So that time I was actually lecturing in Ling Kok Wing. So I thought maybe I can do work on the side to earn money for the wedding. And then just so happened, one of the clients in Ling Kok Wing happened to come and get students to do work. Then I actually started doing work on the side for them, and I realized, hey, I can do this full time. And suddenly, as luck would have it, I had a call from one client, and I told my clients, these potential clients, I'm actually teaching, lecturing full time. I can only do work for you part time, but I can charge you very little, and you're actually contributing to my wedding fund. And that is how Seshan Design first started. So Seshan Design was actually a company I created, an account I created to earn money to save for my wedding. So that is how I started my side project. So it started off as a, as you can see here, it's basically came an idea of wedding fund to do side project. So it was basically started as side project. So, but as luck would have it, I did one project, then this client liked what I did, he told his friend, he told his friend, he told his friend, his friends, his friends, his friends. Next thing you know, more and more work started coming along, and I realized, hang on a minute, I can actually do this full time. So in 2000, so I kept on, I started, instead of full-time lecturing, I went to part-time lecturing, and I considered more on my works on the side. And then I wanted to see my first batch of students graduate from Lincoln. And then in 2008, I got married. And officially from there, we started off, I resigned fully from Lincoln, and I started off Seshan Design as a one-man show. Now, so I was doing very well. I enjoyed myself. I could work as and when I pleased. My wife was working. She's an IT consultant. I mean, she works in an IT networking background, not in our industry. And because you're your own boss, you can pretty much do anything you want. I used to join my wife for lunch. I used to go out movies in the daytime, but at the same time, you got to work. So basically, the good thing about being on your own is you work as and when you please. But at the same time, the bad news is if you stop working, nothing moves. So everything is by you. And then of course in late 2009, one of my clients approached me. He wanted to do my client was actually the owner, the family that owns Sumo Holdings in KL. And he actually approached me to come out to do a partnership. So at first I didn't want to, because once you're so used to working on your own, you don't want to work with someone else. And then he kept buttering me, you never know until you try. That was the keyword he said to me, you won't know until you try. And then at that time, my wife was pregnant, my first kid was on the way. So I thought, why not? Why not just try setting up an office? So that's what we did. So in late 2009, 2010, we basically set up custom design group. So my original staff were my former students from Lincoln. We hired them and we started running projects. But after 2 years, we realized that it was a bit one-sided, because my client, my partner wasn't a designer. He was actually a banker. He was a businessman. He was a developer. So I kind of felt one-sided, because I felt like I was doing all the work. And it's like, hello, I'm bringing the projects. I'm doing all the work. What's this partnership for? So after 2 years, we decided to split. But the good thing about being in CDG was it kind of forced me to figure out how to run an office, because when you have an office, there's a lot of issues. You have to deal with salaries, EPF, dealing with income tax and all the kind of things I never really knew about, because his office backend helped me. So then in 2012, after the end of 2011, we decided to split. And actually, my wife was the one that came to me and said, hang on, she can do this, because my wife is a manager of a bigger multinational office. So she actually backed me up to say, no, she can handle the back end, the HR component and stuff. And then in December 2012, I started off as Seshan Design Sendirian Berhad. So I took 3 of my original staff from CDG, and basically we started in my office in my house, and basically with my backing from my wife and family. So basically it was like almost like a home office. We got everyone laptops, everyone worked from home, some 3 people. And then as time went by, more and more projects started coming. In 2014, we got about 18 staff. And then in 2019, just before the pandemic, we started doing projects there's one project I got, which is hotel, which I think if some of you on my social media, I just posted that we won an award for most creative and unique boutique hotel in whole of Borneo, and in Sabah, sorry. And we also got, the hotel also got the award for the design hotels. It's an international group of design hotels, and they recognize the hotel that we designed as something of that level, that is part of an international group, and it's the first hotel of that caliber in Borneo. So that was when I set up an office in Kota Kinabalu. We were supposed to set up, I actually hired people, everything there. But of course, in 2020, our dear friend COVID came and visited us. So things have slowed down in Sabah. But now recently, I just came back from KK over the weekend. We started getting 3 or 4 more projects. So things are slowly moving up again. And at that time, I didn't put it.
LING.
Sorry?
Mm.
Sorry. So anyway, yeah. So that's basically where we are today, Okay. Anyway, so that's basically a bit of history on how it happened. So just to give you an idea, unlike I suppose many of you guys now, or like what Prof, let's say, about having a 10-year plan and so forth. Back then, our time, we never had a plan. We just did what we did. We graduated, and whatever came our way, we just did it to our best opportunity and basically move forward. Of course, now today the world is changing. I think it's to some extent you got to plan ahead to see what is possible. So I'm just showing you kind of an alternative for how things work. That means I didn't join a corporate office and so forth. And just for your information, I do not have a Part 3. I am not an AR, but Malaysia boleh. There are always ways around it. I'm still working towards it, but you know, but now one of my senior staff, Azlan Charawi, who's also a UTM alumni, is actually the director of in my office, and he's our signing partner at the moment, lah. So basically, the traditional route of getting a Part 3 and setting up office may not need to apply. It depends on what you're trying to do. So anyway, so basically, just say you graduated and all the stuff, you started working in office and you realize how now's the time for me to set up office and stuff. So of course, before you set up an office or when you set up office, I suppose one of the biggest problems you start is how do you get jobs? So getting jobs, basically, I broke it down into a few components. First thing is you need to get noticed. I call it the first contact. How do you get the very first job? So for me, it's always been referrals, word of mouth. So my first job itself, my first paying job, which was actually the job which I got for, which I was doing as a part of my wedding fund, was actually from, this is a funny story. Actually, when I wanted to leave Unit 1, I actually applied to a bigger firm, a firm called HLA, Hegel Lindsay Design. It's actually a British firm set up in Malaysia because you know lah, Malaysians can pay them cheaper. So the thing is, they're still around today, UK firm. So I actually applied to them because my friend of mine was actually in that office. So I went to see them. I went for the interview. I didn't meet the bosses, but the people who interviewed me were basically senior architects in that office. And I think they didn't want me to join because if I came in, I would actually come in and I'll be competition to them. So they didn't really offer me a job and I went on to work with Ling Kok Weng. So while I was in Ling Kok Weng, one day I got a call from the boss director of this company and he called me and said, hey, his name is Martin Hager. So Martin called me and asked me whether I was willing to do a job, a small renovation job for a friend of his. And I thought that's a bit odd because I went to him for an interview. He didn't give me a job. And now he's calling me to ask me whether I'm willing to do a small reno for a friend of his. So I thought, what's the catch? Why can't you do it yourself? Then he told me, oh no, actually, because when I was in my previous office, Unit 1, we actually did the sales gallery for that development, which was Do Residency in KL. And his friend actually bought a unit there. And he remembered saying that he liked that show unit. And he found out that I was with Unit 1 that time and I was heavily involved in show unit. So basically he told me, maybe my friend would like to do it. And that's how my first job came in. And after I got that first job and I was doing his first job, this client had a few friends who was also buying units in that unit, and he basically introduced me to them, and two of them, and then one of them was actually someone who worked in Kazana, and I did her house, and then later when I completed her house, she got me two of her friends, and then from there, and so all my initial jobs were actually no connection whatsoever to my previous office, but basically can all be traced down to that one person, and like it or not, KL is small. Everyone eventually will know everyone. So my early projects when I first started, I was still a one-man show. I had no paperwork. I didn't ask the client to sign contract. I mean, I didn't charge much at that time because I was doing part-time work. But because all my clients knew each other, I told them that is actually stronger than any contract because I can't afford to screw up or F up because if I screw up, my other clients all know me, you know, so that's that kind of, so reputation was key. So when I first started, I had zero paperwork, everything was shaking hands, word of mouth, and said, hey, it's all pure reputation, pure integrity. And that's how I started getting my early first round of projects. Now, of course, commonly people know about well, of course, that's how you start the first project. And of course, when the first few projects started getting built, of course, back then was Facebook. We didn't have Instagram or TikTok or whatnot we have now. So I started posting a few of the works on social media. And then one or two of my early projects actually got published in some local magazines, like the Room magazine was actually based in Singapore, and then eventually D+A. And then I remember in 2010, my first client who actually found me from Facebook. So there was actually one client who actually saw my work on Facebook and then she said, came to see me, and then that's how I got the job. But the difference with for me was also because so just to give you an idea, so this was, of course, this is what I have today. This is part of my portfolio. I actually have so you see the first two projects here, the room and stuff. This was back in 2009 and 2006. This was actually the first two projects I did, which surprisingly, luckily enough, came on the front cover of the magazine. So I was quite lucky in that sense, lah. So of course now, over the years, I've got a ton of works that have been published, and this usually does help. But I'll come back to this later, because the problem with publications is, okay, this is the downside of publications. A lot of us like to get involved, like we say, like, oh, we like to get our work published in Arc Daily, we like to get our work published in DZine, we like to get our work published in D+A. The unfortunate matter is most of these magazines, the breeders of these magazines are not clients, they're actually architects. So basically, the magazine's publication is more to show off to other friends and so forth. I got a friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name here. He's actually an architect in Malaysia, also one of my contemporaries. He is the most viewed and in terms of digital presence, he is #1 in Malaysia. That means everyone clicks his work and clicks his work. But I was talking to him some time ago and he was telling me he's got no jobs. So digital presence doesn't necessarily mean, yes, people will notice you, so that's one good. But the next thing is people have to notice you first. And the thing is, you got to see who's noticing you. So the good thing about my social presence and social media presence is actually good for me to get staff, not so much clients. Yes, there are a few clients who actually find us, and I think they find us, they search on it, and then we have articles, and then some clients actually read those articles, so it's actually quite good. But a lot of times, I don't get my clients from social media. Social media is actually a very small percentage of clients. Social media actually helps me get staff. People want to look for your students and all stuff, and also for us to give us bragging rights to other architects to say, ha, I got this, I won this award. It's actually, that's more for us to boast to other friends and architects, not so much on the part of clients. So anyway, comes to the second part. So once you got people know you, they call you, hey, they give you the first call, there's the first contact. That doesn't guarantee you get the job. You have to close the deal. So yes, the first deal is done. The first step is that clients know you, they got your account number, they contacted you, they say, hey, saw the work, hey, your work looks quite cool and stuff like that. So how do you close the deal? So this is where this comes into play. So the advantage, integrity, trust, and experience. I mean, once clients meet you for the first time, don't forget, clients might not be meeting just you. They might be meeting another 3, 4, other 10 or 20 different architects for all you know, because a lot of clients will be shopping. And this is the problem I think a lot of you will face. So for me, it was a bit easy because when I first started on my own, I already had 9 years experience in Unit 1. And I was there in 9, and Unit 1 was a small office. So this is where I'm going to argue for the benefit of small offices. If you join a big office, for example, big corporate firm, whoever lah, GDP, BEP, EMERITUS, stuff like that, you might be there for 5 years. And if you're lucky, you might complete one job, okay? Because the job is massive, okay? Huge scale stuff. But I joined a small office at Unit 1, which we did a lot of small projects. And then when I joined in 97, it was also during the start of the economic recession. But at that time, all the architecture projects in office in Unit 1 died. But in 98, Surya KLCC opened up. So we started doing a lot of interior jobs. Now, the advantage is the firm I joined, my bosses were from UK. They were both trained, they're both Malaysians, and they're both trained in London. And the thing about UK is if you go in UK, in London, in United Kingdom as a whole, there are no, I mean, unlike Battersea mega project now, a lot of architects in UK don't do big projects, they actually do small projects. A lot of the good interiors are also done by architects, not so much interior designers. So during the recession, in 97, Unit 1 started doing a lot of interior projects for KLCC and so forth, small renovations, houses and stuff. So I got involved in a lot of them. So in my 9 years in Unit 1, I did about almost 80% of the work that I was involved in 80%. And I have a portfolio of almost, I cannot remember. I wouldn't be far to say I had about 60 projects or 50 projects total. So when I started off on my own, I can actually show clients, these are the works I did. I mean, yes, it's when I was in Unit 1, but I was a senior architect. So these are the kind of works I did while I was in my office. So I already had that level of experience from me. So I know a lot of juniors now, a lot of fresh grads now, they feel, oh, I graduate, next year I want to start my own office. You not saying you can't, but for clients' point of view, what have you got to show? So that comes to my second part, if you want to charge, because they'll feel like, you got no experience, you want to charge how much? 10,000, I pay 2,000 now, because what experience have you got? You get me, you don't have anything to show. So for me, it was easy because I had that body of work from my previous office, and I came out, I was like, hey, hang on a minute, I actually have done all this stuff. So, and I was actually charging them a bit lower back then because I was doing it part-time. So they were getting a good deal because you are getting someone with 10 years of experience, but I'm charging you as a part-timer, So that's how I easily got all my early jobs as well, because I had the experience and I had contractors and stuff to do. So again, it all boils down to integrity, trust, and experience. So, and of course now, for me, I've actually started having a bigger body of work. And I do a lot of residential projects. I do a lot of residential projects. I do a lot of restaurants and F&B. I didn't share my link of my work here, but I think later on we can just share it out there. Then you guys can have a look at my portfolio. But we do a lot of small scale projects. Now, so when I meet clients for the first time, like when the early projects, when I started getting my projects, when I started completing my first few projects. So when I get my next client, I actually take them to see my previous client's house. And this is something I realize a lot of architects don't do, because sometimes during the duration of the project, there might be certain things that happen, and then the client doesn't want to talk to you anymore and all that kind of stuff. But for me, most of the case, almost 99% of the times, the clients and I have a we actually end up having a very good relationship, and they actually don't mind me bringing clients to see the house again. And for the new clients, that is actually very good, because like, wow, you actually allow me to bring to see your old client, and the old client actually tells, wow, they had a wonderful experience, stuff like that. So this again goes into building trust and experience. So this is, I'll come to you again on the next item. Is this is how I actually use my clients to actually market for me. I don't sell myself. My clients sell me. So that is actually the trick. That's actually the main trick on how I get clients today. And like, for example, at restaurants and stuff, because we do a lot of well-known restaurants in KL, Birch, Huckleberry, and so forth. When I have my meetings with my clients, my office is a dump. I mean, this is not this is the actual real thing. I think some of you have worked in my office before. It's basically a house. It's nothing great about it. But I feel that we have got so much built work outside, F&B, restaurants, cafes, really cool ones. I actually take my clients and I take them and I have my first meetings with them in the places we have designed to show that this is our work, you know. You see, you feel, I don't just show you photos, I actually take you to see the actual thing. And also when I bring clients to see the previous houses, and then, so the client, when I take them to see a previous client's house, and when their house is complete, they usually allow me to bring the new clients over to see their house again. So there's only been about 3 clients so far who are a bit high profile clients. They don't let me bring future clients, fair enough. But on a general note, the other 97% or so of clients actually allow me to bring new clients to their previous house, to their house. Sometimes the clients are there and sometimes they're not there. And some clients, they want to be there and they will go, oh, Ramesh is so good. My God, my session design team is fantastic. They made me do this stuff. So the new clients will be like, wow, you know, I don't have to say anything. They do the marketing for me. And that actually helps quite a bit. Not quite a bit, it helps a lot, you know. And again, end of the day, reputation is key. Like how I started, I had no paperwork. Of course, nowadays I got paperwork and stuff for auditing purposes. I'm running a proper business. But again, end of the day is reputation. No one remembers the good you do. Everyone remembers when you F up. Okay, I think you know that. You make one you help 10 different people, you screw up one guy, they'll remember that one part you screw up. Okay, so that to me, reputation is key. So for in everything we do, that is the most important. And the downside with a small office is our clients are always private clients. The difference is our clientele is different. Big office, your clientele are developers. Small office, your clients are private clients. And the difference is our clients are the end user. For big office, your client is not the end user. Your client is the developer. Your client is the guy who wants to sell, build the property, build the thing fast, cheap, and sell it. They don't care who's going to use it. For us, our clients are always the end user. So there's a different kind of relationship rapport we have to build with them, because they are going to live in this house. They're going to pay with it for your own money. And if anything goes wrong, can you just imagine if you did a bathroom for a client and the bathroom something that's wrong, and every morning the client sits down, takes a dump in the morning and sees that stain on the wall, they're going to be cursing at you, you know. So it's a different aspect altogether. So we have to be, the kind of care and effort we put into our projects is very different, because at the end of the day, we are building reputation. Okay. Okay, and this is the key for sustaining referrals. Let your client market for you. So at the end of the day, we are basically playing the long game. Okay. A lot of times, people think, oh, if you do a fantastic design, if you're a great designer and your project is fantastic, you will automatically get new clients. Wrong. Your design can be fantastic, but your design, even if your design, if the client went through a very hectic or troublesome process, they won't recommend you. Okay. And also, if you, a lot of the works that have been done, again, I'm speaking from experience because I know a lot of friends of mine who do fantastic design houses. They get published in magazines and stuff, but their projects are not practical. They look good in magazines, but they actually don't work. That's why the clients will never, yes, they get published, everyone wants it, wow. But then he comes to me and says, hey, why clients not calling me here? Then I told him, that's because your projects don't work. You don't solve the problems for your clients, especially for residential. That's why they're not calling you back. And the thing, so the first line that says, get the clients involved. So my trick is this, when I design a house for someone, okay, there are 2 kinds of architects. There's the architect where you are the artist, architect as the artist, my way or the highway. I don't subscribe to this. So there are some architects in Malaysia who are like that. That means basically if you hire them, you cannot see, the client cannot see anything, You just have to follow whatever they do. So fine, you have to be of a certain level to be like that. I'm not saying it's wrong. Okay, personally for me, I mean, I'm sure some of you want to be that. They want to be architect. So you come to me, I'm so atas there. You hire me, you keep quiet, you just listen to whatever I do. One day, if you're there, good for you. I clap for you. Okay. For me, I feel I disagree with that kind of notice because at the end of the day, I feel if I'm building houses, the house is the client's house. Yes, I am the architect, but at the end of the day, yes, it's our design, but it's the client's house and it's the client's money. So my strategy is always make the client feel they're part of the process. So yes, so every project is unique. Every project is a hybrid of your emphasis and the client's needs, and then you come up with something totally unique. So every house is unique for that particular client. And you must make the client feel that they are part of that process and enjoy the process. And you believe me, it works. Because when the project is over, the clients will be like so proud to say, wow, I came up with this. They can tell stories about how they decided this, how they had an argument with me, and then they decided, oh, the client's idea was better and stuff. So sometimes you must give them certain things. And because the clients are so invested in the project, they will market the house for you. So when their friends come over, they'll say, oh, I know my architect's very good. He let me do this. And then their new clients will come, their friends will come and say, wow, the process was fantastic. And that's how I get my referrals. You let the clients market you, but you need to get them in part of the process. Okay, then the second thing is accountable. Mistakes will get made. I mean, end of the day now, I'm not doing a one-man show. I've got staff coming in, young staff coming in. Mistakes will get made. Money will be spent, eggs will be broken, fine out. But to me, my policy is very simple. If a fault is done by us or my office, straight away I'll say it's my fault, I'll pay for it. Doesn't matter. What goes around comes around. This little money you spend eventually will come back to you one day. So the most important thing is reputation must be kept. So the clients need to understand that we are accountable. That means whatever we do, we are responsible for it. I mean, and that's basically the job of an architect anyway. You are holding the liability of the project. And for me, I go that extra step. If I specify something that doesn't work, I'll tell the client straight away, my fault, I didn't check enough, I'll pay for it. End of story. It moves on. And this actually helps. So I've had clients where things have gone wrong big time. In everything from day one to day wrong. I even lost my fee, had to give back my fee, everything. And then after the project's over, I stuck with them. A few years later, she come back and said, hey, you want to do my brother's house or not? I was like, no. But the fact is, the fact that a project can screw up, we stuck with them, we finished it, and they will still come back to us and say, hey, I still recommend you for someone else. So you get me or not? So it can be a tiring process, but again, like I said, I'm playing the long game. It's about creating reputation and having integrity. Okay. And again, like I was saying, you have to give and take. So sometimes you want to have something really bad, but the client disagrees with you. So you have to negotiate with them. Okay, fine. I let you have this finish, which I disagree with, but I let you have this. You let me design this for this portion. So there's a certain kind of compromise that has to take. And the other thing is this maintenance. So this is actually a very important thing, especially for houses. People live in homes. Home is not a showroom. They're going to live there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. They're going to pass down to the children. So there's a lot of things that have to work. So things that clients need, like for example, they want to have grills, they want to have security and all that stuff, mosquito nets. Those are practical things that must happen. So I used to have friends of mine in the past. They do fantastic work and they get published and stuff. And I noticed their house, hey, your house got no skirting. How are they going to clean the floor without getting the walls dirty? Hey, your house got no security grills. How your house got no mosquito nets? And then my friends will say, no, it doesn't look good. So I was saying, but the clients will want this. I said, yeah, they can put it in after I take the photos. So you can see that's their mentality. They just want the house to look great, take the photos, publish it. And then after that, the clients will come in and they'll actually start putting all these things again. And then the house will look nothing like what was published. And to me, I feel, and then that's why these clients will not recommend these architects, student friends. It won't. So for us, we know those are the problems. People are worried about security. People are worried about maintenance. People are worried about making sure the thing doesn't fall apart. So if we can tackle all these issues and still make the house or build check look good, isn't that better? And that is what we strive to do. And I strive to do because that is what gets me the constant flow of projects or clients coming in, Yeah, I said solve problems and make it look good. And then of course for a lot of our projects, we're from UTM, and I think UTM is one of the top schools in terms of passive design and climatic design, and then climatic solutions. So actually that's all the projects that we do, we make sure they're all passive design as much as possible. So we can actually compare the projects we do, the houses we do, and houses by other people of a similar size. Our electrical consumption and stuff is easily a fifth or quarter than what every other projects do. I got clients of houses, massive 10,000 square feet houses, telling me, oh, my house electric bill 4,000, 5,000. The houses we do, 10,000 square feet, even with a swimming pool, our electric bills are only about 1,000, 1,500, not counting PV. Yeah? Because if the house is designed well, natural ventilation, light, everything works. What the things that you guys learn in school, please apply it outside. It works. Okay, and this is also a selling point for us. And we have clients where this actually works. I can take them to my previous client's house and say, come, let me show you the electric bill. You can actually see what's happening, you know. Yeah, make sure next one. Oops. Okay. Let's jump into this. I'm sure all of you have seen this. This is the okay. So again, you've got the client pop up. They offered you. They said, "Yes, I want to be the one. You want one. You are the one I want." So when it comes to the next tricky part, fees. How do you charge fees? Okay. So I'm not going to go into details on how to calculate and stuff. This is something just general I want to talk to you about. So a lot of clients will come and tell you, "Ah, yeah, why you charge so expensive? I got someone to can charge less." Your answer should be go lah. Because I mean, at the beginning, when you first start on your own, I think it's a bit difficult. But once you build at least 1 or 2 good projects, and you must trust in yourself, you know you have a project of a certain value, don't downplay your value. Don't ever downplay your value, because clients always will want to try to get the best deal for themselves. And many times, even when I'm also I've done this before. There are times when, you know, for me, for example, I got staff, I have to pay my staff. So I need money coming in. And sometimes when I really, really want a job, I will just take on a job which I know my gut tells me I shouldn't take it and I shouldn't drop my fee so low. But at that point of time, I'm desperate. And every time I do that, that project screws up. So sometimes you just have to hang in there and just say, it's okay, I'll just wait for the next person. I'll just tell this guy, sorry lah, I mean, this is the best I can do. I'll show a video later that explains how this kind of thing works. But again, true. If a client tells you that you want someone cheap, go and find someone cheap. You have something new to offer. That's why I said when you do a project, you as an architect or as a designer or even whatever, even if you go into another field, I'm sure there's something special about the work that you do that is different from other people. The clients need to see that. Value what you can do. Like for example, if people want to come to me and say, you come to me, you get a house of a certain caliber, certain level, you'll get published and all that kind of stuff. You can do these things, it's high, so maintenance. But if you go to another architect, you won't get the same thing. You'll probably get another nice looking house, but probably nothing will work. You won't get the same kind of end product that what I can offer you. And that is our value. So don't ever downplay that, you know. So charging clients again, I'll show you a video shortly, which is a 5-minute video, 4.5-minute video. So this video is a video I saw a good 10 years ago when I first started. It's actually by a South African speaker, Wusu, I can't remember, Tembek Wayo. Okay, so I managed to dig up the video to share with you today. So this was my inspiration, one of the early inspirations I had when I first started. And off and on, I still tend to watch this video because I think it's still relevant today. So there's this thing about how he talks about how to say no without saying no. So when I say wanted to give a talk about I need to teach architects how to say no, because when a client comes to you and shows you a figure, yeah, your charge 300,000. I mean, I cut it down to 200,000. Then you feel like shit. There's so much money. You want to say yes or no, but there's sometimes we need to learn to say no. And then this guy, he talks. It's very good. He talks about a way try to say no without actually saying no. That means you make the clients feel bad for not wanting you. I'll show you shortly. Yeah? And then the other thing is sometimes when the project doesn't go your way, like for example, if the project, I mean, yes, there are times I also admit I've been arrogant to a few of my clients because I really don't want to do work with them, especially developers. But sometimes when the client talks to you and you say, oh, actually they're way below your minimum charge, I will still entertain the clients. You know why? Because there's been one case where a client, because nowadays I've done so many projects, I actually, when a client's project see me for the first time, I actually give out a standard email that tells them how much things will cost, everything and so forth. And the interesting part is the client I know this can't afford me now, but I still will entertain them. I will still entertain all their questions about the site and so forth. And and I know they won't take the job, but they will be so thankful because usually most architects won't entertain them. Most architects will not lion shopping clients, but I do. And there was one incident where this guy came back to me 5 years later because he finally made his money, and he told me what because of that conversation I had with him 5 years ago, he told him he's myself because I was the only architect that bothered to entertain him, help him out, advise him, and even though he couldn't afford to pay me. And 5 years later, when he finally had the money, he would only hire me. So, you know, again, what goes around comes around, and you play the long game, you will get back things. So first thing is, try not to burn bridges. Although you can't stand the client or stuff, I don't have to be. I mean, again, I'm not the right person to say this because I think a lot of people who know me know I'm also pretty much of an arrogant prick. But I pick and choose my clients on who I want to be arrogant to. There's some clients I'm actually very nice to, in principle. And then again, I say always entertain the clients. When I say entertain means not entertain as in take them out drinking and all that kind of stuff. I say entertain as in they do have questions to ask you, answer back. I mean, it doesn't take much time to just answer a question. If they ask you, hey, what should I do and all that kind of stuff. Because many clients don't know a lot of things. They don't know about land, they don't know about land issues, they don't know about setbacks, they don't know about the legal issues about building and so forth. So I think this is, in some sense, it's also our duty to educate the general populace also. Because one day it will benefit you back again. People will talk to you and say, although he might not hire you, he might advise a friend of his who can afford you to say, hey, go and talk to this guy. He was actually very helpful. So there's no harm done. It just takes a few minutes extra of your time, and you are actually building up a reputation of yourself as you go along. And again, this doesn't only apply to architecture. It can be anything you guys doing. From what I understand from some of you guys are also doing work projects on the side, you're doing 3Ds on the side and stuff. I think the same thing still applies. Okay, so this is a video. I hope the sound is correct. You should guys should watch. So it's a 4.5-minute video. I've edited it a bit, but you guys should really watch it. And I think it's really, really good because this is what inspired me about 8-9 years ago.
We'll have a chat about it in a moment. There's no such thing as a product that's too expensive. No such thing as a product that's too expensive. A customer tells you your product is too expensive, you're talking to the wrong customer. Yeah. If anyone walks into Lamborghini and says, but a Toyota is less. Lamborghini will tell you, then go to Toyota. Why are you here? True fact, I'm the most premium price speaker in South Africa. I charge in South Africa more than any other speaker in the market. My office will also tell you price is not a negotiation I have with my clients. I never talk price, I talk value. Anytime you find yourself talking price, know that now you are not an entrepreneur anymore. Never talk price with customers, talk value. Talk price, talk value. And the difference between the difference between the two is perception. So I'm gonna come back to this in a minute. I need an example. What do you do? So how much do you charge per hour? I have never in my life charged per face. That's really cool. How much per face? 800. Thank you. You are so cool. Can we case study for a bit? Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So let's see what charges. 800 Rand per face. Now, Sindasio, how many customers have come to you and said, can you lower the price? Quite a few. What do you do there? You lower the price, right? What do you do? Why?
Because that's my time.
Never say no. Because then you walk away from the sale. The fact that I came to you means I'm interested in buying. So what you got to figure out, this is a great sales technique. What you got to figure out is how to make the customers feel bad for not buying. The minute you say no, they don't feel bad. It's like she's arrogant and they walk away. Never say no. No is a word you should try never to use in a sales process. You got to find a way of saying no without saying no. And then you got to find a way of saying, I'm not the problem, Mr. Customer, you are. Okay? So let's try this. Can we model this? So I'm coming to you. Hi, Sindasiwa. Can you do my face, please? Yes. Right. I have a budget of like 420. Sorry, what?
I charged it.
No, I wasn't asking how much you charge. I said my budget is 420. Oh, you can refer me? Okay, cool. Give me the number. Take the number, walk away. What have you just said to me? No. Can I play you? Try it. Gunja. Good. Of what? 420 is your budget? Where are you going? You're going to a wedding. Oh, wow. So they're going to be like friends there? Yeah. Are you married? You have an ex? Say. Just watch. All right. So your ex might be at the wedding. What's it worth to you to make sure that your ex sees you looking the best you've ever looked? Is it? I mean, look, you want to pay me for 20, I charge 800. And the difference between the two is 380 bucks. What I'm trying to work out is if making your ex feel bad is worth 380 bucks or not. Because if it is, then I'm the person you come to. But if looking any kind of way, whether you see your ex or not, is not important, then I'm happy to find you somebody who can do it for 420. What did I just do? I changed the conversation from price to value. Now, in her mind, the anchor is not price. The anchor is this bloody extra. All the time. Shift the anchor all the time. Yeah? The price is the conversation people have absent of value. The minute someone mentions price, it means that there's no value. It means you commoditized what you do. Fun and buying nature. Never talk price, always talk value.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Keep it am I just in time? Yeah, sorry, I think I took too much of your time actually. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Ramesh.
Sorry, that took a bit too long, but anyway, yeah, that's for me. That's me trying to keep it short. I tend to ramble on a lot more. But if you got any questions, feel free to talk to me about it, or even WhatsApp me or whatever.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh, for the sharing and some insights to our industry and practice. Now, before I open the Q&A session, I would like to welcome Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Hamdan bin Haji Ahmad, which is our Deputy Vice Chancellor for Development, and also Professor Dr. Syed Ahmad Iskandar bin Syed Arifin, the Executive Director of Institute Sultan Iskandar ISI ETM. They are also here with us this morning. Just that they didn't open the camera, but they are with us. Right. So now I'm opening the Q&A session for roughly around 10 to 15 minutes, and we already have few questions at hand lah. Okay. So the first question, I think the first question posed to Dato ELIAS, but I think Mr. Ramesh is better answering this question. So the first question is, what is the expectation for the current new graduates to equip themselves in the market?
You're talking about part 2, right? I'm sure. Masters lah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the thing about firms now, especially and even now, is getting even worse because most firms want students to come in and graduates to come in and be able to fit into the office and actually start running things. Okay, I think that's the good strength that the Malaysian graduates have over the foreign graduates. Because a lot of foreign graduates, they come in, the way they train overseas is a bit different. They actually, the idea was, they said you give them critical thinking, you make them think critically and stuff, they can learn anything you want. But the problem is a lot of firms, especially in Malaysia, we have a lot of projects, but now at the moment there's a shortage of workers. We want people to actually be able to come in and start taking charge and running forth. And when I was a graduate back of UTM way back then, I think the target for students, the target for graduates back then was be able to get students who could basically, the moment you enter industry, you could actually go in straight away. And I remember when I first joined Uni 1 back in '97, I actually knew more than my bosses when it came to technical stuff, and they were like, "Wow, they don't know this." They always had to rely on external consultants, and actually we could do it. And I think that is actually quite a key thing. That means you have something to offer offer your potential employers. So when you go for an interview, the key thing for an interviewer is you must always tell what is it you can offer the employer. That they can't. It means you're not just a grunt. You're not just, oh, I can do AutoCAD, oh, I can do Revit. You must actually show them that no, I actually can manage people. I can actually do things. And the thing is, when you're entering as a Part 2 graduate, remember, your architect, you're not just a cat or rabbit monkey. You are the head. You are the SO. You are the person running the project. You have to lead a project. You have to lead a team. And this is one thing I wanted to touch on a bit earlier. In school, especially in UTM, you guys actually get involved with a lot of activities, a lot of events, architecture workshops, and so forth. Actually, my advice to students is you guys should actually get involved with these things, because knowing the theory and you can do a lot of work, a lot of 3D fantastic stuff, but you don't get involved with dealing with people, you will be at a major handicap when you get employed. Because as an employer, the staff of mine who I want to hire, and who I want to raise up and give more money to and promote, is someone who can act independently, someone who can lead a team. Because I've had a situation before. I had staff who are very good. They can do fantastic 3Ds, they can do work and stuff. But the thing is, the person cannot talk, cannot deal with people, cannot work with people. In the end, that person is good. But someone else who's also good, but is also very good at doing work, but who's also very capable of dealing with people, can manage people, can delegate on, that person will actually go a lot higher. So that's why I feel the good thing about UTM is it's kind of an all-rounded school. So don't just focus on your skills of, oh, I'm very good at Revit or I'm very good. Because don't forget, when you join a big firm, and remember this is advice, when you join a big practice, they will only use you for what you're good at. So if you're very good at Revit, I'm sorry, that's where you're going to get stuck for the rest of your life, unless you can somehow break your way out of it. So the best thing is when you come in as an all-rounder, because again, unless you really want to become a Revit modeler or you want to become a 3D specialist, that's up to you. But if you want to be full-on architect, you want to practice your own office, you want to start up your own office, you want to start your own practice, the best is you need to be an all-rounder. So basically, when you come in to a firm, you must enter a firm that knows, yes, they're hiring you for what you can do now, but there's also room for you to grow into other things. You want to lead the team, you want to lead the projects, you want to be the one meeting the clients, you want to be the one dealing with consultants, managing the consultants, being on site, and so forth. So, and that unfortunately has a lot to do with people skills. And I think that's one aspect that a lot of firms, a lot of schools downplay. And unfortunately, in the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, a lot of these things didn't happen. But I did know that, I mean, pre-pandemic, that is one of the strong strengths that UTM had, because you guys do get involved with a lot of events and stuff, and the students do get involved with that. But a lot of other schools, it's only a few students having events, and that's it. And a lot of parents like to tell the students, hey, don't bother with events, just study, study, study. But actually, when it comes to going on into the industry, that role is actually a very big role. I've got a few of my seniors now, so they're very good at doing work on their own, but they have problems delegating. They don't know how to lead a team, and that will affect how far you grow. I mean, the basic skills that you guys have. I know, end of the day, like I was mentioning to Prof. ELIAS earlier on, UTM is my gold standard. So if you're a graduate of UTM, you are already there. Okay, you basically can. Other schools are way below you. Don't worry about that. Even if you're an average or above average student, you're actually better than 80% or 90% of the schools out there. The thing is then, what is almost like selling projects, how do you sell your value a bit more? What else can you do besides the normal stuff you can? And that is where I think people need to push us. Like what also Prof. ELIAS said, it's about a skill set, but it's also the human part of it. That means the fact that you can work with people, organize. And so when you show your portfolio or sub CV, it's not about, for me, when I look at people's CV, students' CV personally, I look at their portfolio. The CV to me is just a general thing. I don't really, actually, quite frankly, I don't care about grades. But small offices, the bosses look at your CV. Big offices, your HR people look at the CV. So for me, from my point of view, if I look at the CV, I look at their portfolio, because from the portfolio, I can see how much passion the students have in their work. But when I look at the CV, I also look at what things did they do. Like for example, oh, this guy was the secretary or the president of the student association. He was in charge of the graphic department for workshop. To me, those things carry weight, because I know, this guy has experience, this person, this lady, this person has experience leading a team or working with other people. That to me, for a small office, is a very major role, because my office, I only got an office of 20 people, but we run about 30, 40 projects. So actually my staff run the jobs, not me. I oversee. So I want people who are able to do things like that. So again, the expectations differ from different offices, but most offices, especially the smaller, medium ones, they want graduates to take responsibility away from the bosses to basically to run the project. So we need people who are not only skilled, but are able to take on this responsibility and basically be able to delegate and manage people. And I think that is one aspect that's a lot of people don't talk about in school, but actually the schools do have it. It's actually it's not literal in your theory, in your syllabus, but actually you guys do it on your side events, your activities and stuff. So actually you guys to somehow maybe talk to students about this. Actually, hey, you guys have to get involved actively, because at the end of the day, when you ever want to be an architect, and not even if you don't want to be an architect, you want to do something else, a businessman and stuff like that, you will have to deal with people. So that's actually people skills is actually quite an important role to actually stress on top of what you already train as a school. That's my 1 cent, 2 cents worth of it.
Okay, Mr. Ramesh, next question is probably an offshoot to your answer. Okay, the question is, what do you expect from UTM graduates if they want to work with you, as I am interested to join you? Please give an answer, honest answer and tips. What are the qualifications and qualities that you are looking?
In a way, is okay. So to me, I'm looking for people, actually general. Okay, like I said, you come from UTM, if you want a better students, to me, automatic, I'll say yes. Then we just matter to talk about how much you're going to pay you, how long you're going to be me. But the most important aspect, actually, so for me, when I hire graduates from other schools, the quality is not that great. The most important thing for me is attitude, because I am almost like a training office. I want people to come, because you must understand that whatever you learn in school, although you learn quite a bit, it is still not enough. So there's a lot of training I have to give you. So I'm looking for people with the right attitude. When I say right attitude means, first of all, you must accept that you only know so much. So sometimes, you do get some students who, they're top student in school all the time, they already feel they're up there. So a bit too arrogant and stuff. And then these students, for me, very difficult to teach because they haven't accepted the fact that they have a lot more to learn. I give you a story here. There's one lecturer, I think you all know, Prof. Bashri in UTM. So of course, one of the things I liked about him was he was one of the first lecturers to make me feel really stupid. Because I used to be, I'm sure Profs, outside, you remember me, right? What I used to go about, I'll be talking rubbish all the time, all that kind of stuff. So I used to enjoy the fact that I could talk my way out of everything. And one day, Prof. Bashri came back. I had a crib with him. I went there, started talking. He just looked at me and he blasted me. He made me feel so stupid. I'm like, oh my God. But that made me realize, like, shit, I need to learn more, So that's the thing, when you enter the workforce, you must understand that no matter how good you are in school, there's still a lot for you to learn. So you must come in with the attitude to want to learn and improve yourself. So for me, my office is different. I mean, if you want to join me, I want someone who you're joining me because you want to improve yourself and you're open to learn new experiences, because my office is a very hands-on office. You're not just going to sit in the office behind the computer. You are actually going to be on site, running the job, meeting the clients, meeting the contractors, getting scolded by clients, getting scolded by contractors. But then it's when you get your hands dirty, you actually see in the nitty-gritty how the whole project, everything works, and you must be open to it. So whatever you've learned before in school is just a nice setting in the theory and all that kind of stuff. But once you're on site, it's a different ballgame. And that happens in a smaller firm. In a big office, you will still get protected most of the time, but in a small office, you can't. You will basically, so my way of lecturing, of training in the office is how I was trained when I joined Unit 1. My boss just took me, threw me in the deep end and see whether I sank or float, and that's pretty much how we train people. So again, if you've got the right attitude and you want to really change and improve, learn and improve yourself, I will definitely take you. Simple as that. Because if you got that right attitude, you can learn anything. It doesn't matter whether you're not a great student or average student, but as long as the attitude is correct, you got passion in your work, and you are accountable. You're not going to shy away from things, or something wrong, you want to say it's not my fault. You have to be. And the one thing I cannot stand is I cannot stand people who are sloppy. That means you have to be careful about work. Whatever you do, you have to be responsible for the work. You want to make sure that whatever you do it correct. Because I do get people who are also, I mean, so far UTM no lah. My so far whoever's joined me from UTM has been very good. Okay, so I don't have that case, but from some other schools I get students to join me, and then they all say the right things. Oh, I want to join you, all kind of stuff. But the problem is they end up being very sloppy because we are a small office. We have to trust our staff as well. The bosses don't have the chance to check every single thing you do. We must be able to trust you that you will on your own make sure your work is done. Whatever we do, you do it, and then you come to us to double check and stuff. So as long as you got a good attitude, you are not sloppy, we'll take you.
Good attitude and not sloppy. That's the answer.
Yes.
Okay, take note, students. Okay, next is probably not a question, it's more like a suggestion. I think this one's from Prof. Hamdan, I think. So, hi Ramesh, the first slide is good to show your path after graduated from UTM. Hopefully you can share it with me, that slide personally.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, all right. Okay, so next question, we have to Mr. Ramesh. I think it is sort of weird for senior architect to take the project of their client's home and be like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Or is it essential for the architects to already take information about their client's choice of colors, pets, furniture, favorite possession, and etc. Whatever.
Huh? I don't quite understand the question. It's quite weird to what?
It's sort of weird for senior architect to take the project of their client's home and be like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Or is it essential for the architects to already take information about their client's choice of colors, pets, furniture, favorite possession, etc.?
Okay, maybe the thing didn't come out, didn't write it properly. So I'm not really sure what he's trying to get. Okay, so basically maybe I think he misunderstood because I was comparing about one of the architect as an artist to say that I'm not like that. So for me, it's a bit different. So when we do a project, because again, the way I do private residences is basically my logic is always the residence is always that of the client. So in my office, we don't have a particular style or approach. We basically I'm quite happy the fact that every house we do is actually different. So we can do the very super luxe one, we can do a tropical one, we can do the crazy Zahadi kind of stuff. To me, it's about enjoyment of different kind of projects, and it's to suit the client's needs. But our part into it is to make sure the project actually makes sense and it works. That means whatever client wants, we'll try to give them whatever they need, but we make sure that it works. So yes, when we meet the client for the first time, I do want to, that initial part is actually very important to find out what exactly they like and the needs, the preferences and stuff like that. And then we try to cater to their preferences. But of course, we as being the architect and the people we experience, we know how to make sure that it works properly. And of course, if certain things doesn't work, I will advise them strongly, say, no, you can't have this. And the thing is, because we've got so much build work now, I can actually take them and show them, see, this is why I say it doesn't work. So that part now, I'm actually quite good at convincing our clients because we have a large enough body of work. But I actually do take in whatever the clients say into consideration. And that is why every project of ours is unique, because every client is different. Every client has their own personality. Every client, and even within the client, if they got a lot of families, the kids, and they got multi-generation homes, there are even different parts of the house that might even end up looking different. And then it's our job to basically compose the whole thing and make everything work together. So a lot of people, and a lot of architects I know don't like doing private clients because they find very leceh, a lot of troublesome. But to me, I find it interesting because you learn a lot from clients. So for me, for example, in the last how many years have I been practicing? I've been practicing on my own since 2008. I have actually dealt with about 100 over different private clients. So I kind of pretty much know what works, what doesn't work, what different people want and stuff. And I'm still meeting some new interesting people at the same time. And for me, I find that interesting because when I meet a client for the first time, when I talk to them, I can actually say, hey, some people like this, some people like this, some people know this. I know I don't cook, but I've done with enough. I've designed enough kitchens for so many different clients, and some of them for chefs. So I know enough on how to design everything. So to me, it's also, I like it because it's also an interesting learning process for me in the office because you learn so much. I give you one small story. There was one time we were doing a project for a developer. So the architect I remember was GDP Architects. We were brought in as the ID consultant, and of course most architects, especially being developers, they will just make the building look good, make sure room resize everything or stuff. But I am a person doing ID because I kept commenting and said, no, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, because my clients are the people who buy the developer's product and then realize it doesn't work, and then they hire me to come and repair it. So I kind of know what works, what doesn't work. And the interesting part was this developer, the BRD, this was BRDB, they actually noticed that I could do that, and they actually hired me to go and create other architects' works as part of the sale. So then they gave me BP's project, I looked at it, and because most architects, like I said, developers, they always look at what the house looks like from outside, it must look cool, I think, but they give very little thought about how the spaces work for the end user. For me, my clients, I told you what, almost 100% end users. So I look at projects from an end user's point of view. That is my biggest selling point. Yes, the house must look good, but think about it. Who looks at the house? Your neighbors. Or when you drive back home in the morning, you go back home, and at the rest of the time, you are actually inside the house. So which you think should have more priority? How the spaces work, right? So I think that's something that we do differently compared to other architects. They always look at the house must look good so I can take photos of. Yes, to me, I feel do both. You want to make house looks good, but in the priority should be everything must work, must make sense for the client. And yes, I do take the client's needs and whims and fancies and all the funny things they want to do. We take into consideration. I got no issues. So we can say, well, we'll make it work. We'll make it look cool. We'll make it look interesting. You know.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh.
There's one question here, quite interesting. What hubby and wife conflict is it? I got a lot of times. So many times I actually play mediator between husband and wife. It's very common. Husband, wife. We got one client last time we were doing whole family involved. Husband, wife, mother, father, husband, wife, sister, brother, the daughter, the son, and the operator. It was a restaurant. So and the best part is all 5 of them will never be in the same room together. They go through me. I'm the intermediate thing. I have to juggle all of them. So yes, sometimes can be very high maintenance, very taxing on the mind. But I've got some staff of mine who are very good at dealing with these kind of people. So we have to manage it lah. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And when it does happen, usually what I advise the client is, you guys have to set some ground rules. That means, okay, husband can only comment on these areas, wife can only comment on these areas, and then you have to set the rules from day one. Or else it'll be a mess. But so far, until today, none of my clients have divorced, even the ones with problems. So far, so good, through the whole process.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ramesh. We have 2 more questions. The second last one is actually for Dato' ELIAS. Dato' ELIAS, are you there? Dr. Elias, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, the
Yes.
question is, what is your hope for future architecture education in Malaysia? Dr.
Okay,
Elias?
it's a tall order question. I hope it will progress with time. As of course I have proposed the model. I hope it will go in that way, where an architecture graduate with part one has the options, to be professional, to be academic, or to be an entrepreneur. But he must have the skill within the 3 years. He must be given the skill that will be recognized, that will enable him for lifelong learning. That's the way I see it. That will give more flexibility beyond the 3 years. But the basic 3 years is where they can experience campus life or face to face, and beyond that they can go online and so on. I think that's the way to go.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Elias. Okay, our last question is probably not for our guest speakers, but for our program director. And the question is, what UTM have prepared to prep students for skills like digital and BIM other than setting up expectation on assessment? Because usually from a graduate experience, all the skills were learned online and by the students themselves and minimal from the university. So what is UTM's role? Dr. Ellis?
Okay, so I think I need to take up the question. Perhaps the question that the student put forth is the scenario during the COVID time where you have to learn online. I think so, based on his or her experience. But once when we go face to face, I think the student will not have the problem anymore of learning BIM or Revit online, because we will be conducting a lot of face to face workshop. So I think the lecturers who are in charge with BIM and CAD, especially under Dr. PC, Architect Chan Wai Lai, and also under Architect Hanis, they will conduct a lot of face-to-face workshop actually to guide the students for this semester one. So please don't get yourself worried too much on learning Revit or BIM and things like that. But we will try to help you as you go along with so many workshops and also so many lecture inputs face-to-face. Yeah, I hope that answered the question, Dr. IZIQ. Yeah. IZIQ, you need to unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Sorry, Dr. Ellis. Okay, thank you very much for the answer. Okay, so I think it's time for me to close the Q&A session, and it's time for our first group photo session together with the guest speakers, because our guest speakers might leave after this, but we are honored if you can stay with us until the end. And actually, we have another photo session later at the end of our event today. So thank you again to our guest speakers, Emeritus Professor Dato Architect Dr. ELIAS bin Salleh and Mr. RAMESH Seshan for their sharing. And to all the participants in this room, please open your camera and crack a smile, and Dr. Pacey will help me take the screenshots. So thank you very much for the cooperation. Our first group photo session together with our guest speakers, we have Prof. Hamdan, our TNCPI, and Prof. Syed as well. And we have also architects, professional architects from the industry, UTM lecturers, the public. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And please open the camera. We need to take a picture. I think there are plenty of us here. Okay, Dr. PC, all yours.
All right. Thank you, Dr. IZIQ. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. So let us move to page number 2. All right. Still loading.
We have 243 participants today.
We have few pages here. Okay. Another round. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Another page. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. I think the rest of the pages, the participants are not opening their cam.
Okay.
So I think that's all. Thank you, Dr.
Okay.
IZIQ.
Thank you very much, Dr. PC from the IT team. Now it's time for our short break, and let us enjoy the montage of UTM architecture song Seni Bina Warisan Kita. Enjoy.
Now, no man is free who is afraid. And he is afraid until he has developed the certainty that comes of a creative life and a creative role in life by way of art, religion, and science.
Demi menyambut perjuangan, kau dan aku di sini bertemu, memulakan satu era baru. Kita berbeda, kehidupan kita tidak serupa. Untuk bersama kita adalah satu legenda. Rasa berubah untuk selanjutnya tak serta menduga. Apakah kita harus terus ikut tanpa punyai pegangan hidup? Realiti harus diakui, kita selama ini tiada identiti. Sampai bilakah kan terus begini? Selepas kita ada generasi seni bina dan warisan kita bersama, dibantu bersama. Kita adalah satu legenda. Dan warisan kita bersama, dibentuk bersama. Kita adalah satu legenda. Seni bina dan warisan kita bersama, dibentuk bersama. Kita adalah satu legenda. Kita adalah satu legenda. Kita adalah satu legenda.
Let us build satu legenda. Thank you, Dr. PC. With the ending of that montage, we have come to the part where we would like to announce the best students achievers and design works for Bachelor Science of Architecture, Master of Architecture, and Master of Architecture offshore program. We are going to start with the Master of Architecture first, and I would like to invite our Master of Architecture program coordinator, Dr. Rashida Abdul Majid, for the announcement. Dr. Rashida, the room is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you to our guest speakers this morning, Professor Dr. Emeritus, Dr. ELIAS, SALLEH, and also Mr. RAMESH for their very great speech. And I hope that students will benefit a lot from this speech and also the advices given by both of the speakers. All right. I can see also Prof. Hamdan. Assalamualaikum Prof. Hamdan. Lama tak jumpa. Still here, yeah? Okay, I will share the slides. Mr. Moderator, can you see the slides?
Yes, I can, Dr. Rashida.
Right,
Make
as
it full screen,
usual,
Dr. Rashida.
full screen.
Make it full screen, yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
All right, as usual, I will announce to you the academic achievements for Master of Architecture semester 2 2021 and 2022. So based on the slides, you can see the overall academic achievements where 65 out of 68 students achieve good levels, no conditional, no failure, and we have 3 others where 2 students differ and 1 student quit. Okay, that is the overall academic achievements. Next, I will announce to you the Master of Architecture Best Students Overall for Design Pre-Thesis. They are Amirul Haziq bin Abdul Aziz with GPA 4.0 and CPA 4.0. Next, Wu Weiyin, GPA 4.0 and CPA 4.0. Thirdly, Chow Zen Nam, CPA 4.0 and GPA 4.0 and CPA 4.0. Fourth, Daryl Pang, GPA 4.0, CPA 4.0. And last but not least, Ng Leng Chuan, GPA 4.0 and CPA 4.0. Congratulations. Next, I will announce to you the Master of Architecture Best Students Overall for Design Thesis. It goes to Muhammad Haziq bin Rosli with GPA 4.0 and CPA 3.78. For the Best Designer Semester 2 2021-2022 for Design Pre-Thesis, they are Muhammad Arif Affan bin Muhammad Hamzan from panel Social Culture Vector under the supervision of Associate Professor Dr. Khairul Anwar with the grade A and the project namely MF Houses Future of the Multi-Generation in Vertical Housings. Next is Ismail Wajdi bin Muhammad Rokibi from panel Social Culture. This is panel Dr. Eli Sabrina with the project 5 Kedai Urban Transit Housing with the grade A. Next is Amirul Haziq bin Abdul Aziz under this Urban New Spirit under the supervision of Dr. Sharifah Salwa Said Mahazar with the project title KL Symphony Rediscovering Intangible Cultural Heritage of Alam Melayu with the grade A. Next is Au Kai Hong from the Sustainable Urbanism under the supervision of architect Chan Wai Lai with the project title Chinatown Youth Center with the grade A+. Next, Ng Leng Chuan from the panel Environmental Technologies Recursive under the supervision Mr. Azari Mat Yasif with the project title Future Restaurant Finding Way on Facade Optimization Through Daylight Distribution with the grade A. And last but not least, Chow panel Environmental Technologies Enviro under my supervision with the project title Redefine Creative Co-working Spaces with the grade A+. Next, I will announce to you the best designer for design thesis. The award goes to Muhammad Haziq bin Rosli under the supervision of Dr. Sharifah Salwa with the project title Meranti Bridge Pavilion, and he achieved grade A for the final thesis project. Congratulations to all the achievers. I hope that this announcement will inspire all students, especially the newbies. Thank you very much. Over back to you, Mr. Moderator, Dr. IZIQ.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rashida, for the announcement, and congratulations to all the MArch students listed. Next, we would go for Master of Architecture Offshore Program, and I would like to invite Architect Nur Shahida Azili as the Master of Architecture Offshore Program Coordinator for the announcement. Please welcome Architect Shahida. Yep.
Can you hear me, Dr. IZIQ?
Yes, I can hear you here.
Okay, all right. Morning, everyone. Welcome back to UTM. Okay, now I will announce for the achievements of Master of Architecture Offshore Program. Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can make sure it's
All
full
right.
screen.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
now I will continue the event today with the announcement of the achievement for Master of Architecture Offshore Program for the session 2021-2022 semester 2. This is the overall academic achievement for semester 3, session 2021-2022. We have kedudukan baik for 14 students. No other special conditions, no one fails. And for semester 2, for the good conditions, we have 20 students. Conditional situations for students, none of them failed, and others is 6 students. So for the best designer pre-thesis 1, semester 2, 2021-2022 is Wen Zin Rong with a grade A- with the title Peace in the Box Student Social Housing, where the supervisor is myself. And then for the best designer pre-thesis 2, semester 2, 2021-2022 goes to Falik Amran Ahmad Kamarul Baharin with the title, hold on. Why? Okay. Panggung Chinatown Theatre Center, where the supervisor is Dr. Nurul Azrin with the grade A. So for the best overall student for pre-thesis semester 2 2021-2022 goes to Falik Amran Ahmad Kamalul Baharin with GPA 4.0 and CPA 3.91. And for the best designer thesis semester 2 2021-2022 goes to Wong Po Moon with the title Kampung Baru Community Farming Center, where the supervisor is Dr. Sharifah Salwa, and grade that she got is A. So for the best overall student thesis for semester 2, 2021-2022 goes to Nik Ahmad Munawar bin Nikdin with GPA 4.0 and CPA 3.97. So that's all for me. Congratulations to all students. All the best. So hope you guys can do better for the next semester. That's all from me. Then go back to you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Architect Nur Shahida, for the announcement, and congratulations to all the MArch offshore students listed. So next, we would like to go for the Bachelor Science of Architecture, and I would like to invite our BSc Program Coordinator, Dr. Azalillah Ramdhani Musa, for the announcement. Dr. Azalillah, are you there? I think Dr. Azalillah is not here, right? Dr. Alice?
Wait, Dr. Azalillah, are you here?
Dr. Azalillah, hold on, wait.
Okay, I'm here. Ada.
Okay, Dr. Azalillah, okay. Are you ready?
Wait, let me open my slide first.
Okay, take your time, Dr. Azhar.
Sorry, I just back from audit.
Oh.
Let me open my slide first.
Dr. Azhar has been busy for the past few weeks, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Hi, good. Let me open my camera first. Okay. Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. Here is
Dr. Azhar, make sure you share your slide, yeah?
yes, I
Okay,
already.
right.
Okay. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of you, and also I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate to all of the students for new students intakes for 2022 and 2023. Welcome to UTM. I hope that you will bring your hopes, your parents' hopes, your sibling hopes to become a successful architect in the future. So my name is Dr. Azarila Ramdhani Mitimusa. You can call me Dr. Azhar. I am the program coordinator. If you have any problems regarding to the registration and so on, please contact me. Since last week, I think I received a lot of WhatsApp from students. Thank you. And then this is, I believe that all of you will already pass this, we call it Arch Gerbang. Welcome to Universiti Teknologi Malaysia. This is one of the identity of UTM. And then I would like to remind you, all of you, that your location of studio, first year studio, where are you? I hope you are aware, because I still receive some of the WhatsApp, where is our studio and so on. So I hope all of you are clear. Studio first year, you are, sorry. Okay, studio first year, your location is at B5. Okay, wait, okay. At the B5, level 4, and then students second year at the B2 level 4, and then student year 3 at the B5 level 3. I hope all of you are aware on that. So I will not receive any question about your location of your studio. And then why? Sorry. Okay. So here is based on the last examination result for semester 2 sessions 2021 and 2022. For year 1, total of students, we have 31 students, and KB means in a good sorry, I'm not sure why you have, do you have any green screen in front of you, right? Okay, is it clear now? Okay.
Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay, total student have 31 students. Good, in a good CGPA means above 2, we have 93.5%, and then we have only have conditionals PNGK below 2, which is only 2 students, and we have none of us have failed. So here is the congratulations for the dean list. We have 40 students, 45.2%. This is for year 1. And then this is for wait. One. Okay, sorry, this is year supposedly year 2. Sorry, mistake for that. We have wait. I think missing slide on year 2. Sorry. This is year 3. We have total 19 students, and then we have 100%. And then we have year 3 Bachelor Arch SBEA. So we have 36 students. That means 100% also. So we have 15 students with the dean list. And then we have graduate students. We have 33 students, and 41% of it is a dean list. And then here we go. This is for a special award for excellent students. Best overall year 1. Please give a big applause to Mahfuzah Hanis binti Abu with the CGPA 4.0, and Jesseling Jongpang Fu Min, also GPA 4.0, academic advisor Dr. Doris, and Mahfuzah academic advisor is architect Shahida Nur Azili. So congratulations, Mahfuzah and also Jesseline. And then for year 2, the best student for year 2 goes to Nur Aman Shafiq bin Shafi'i, GPA 4.0, Academic Advisor, Architecture and Wildlife. And then Alif Mauludin bin Reza Shahrial, GPA 4.0, Academic Advisor, AR, IDS Technologist Nur Aslinda binti Abdul Rahman. And then we have Muhammad Shafiq bin Norizan, same 4.0 for Plat, AR Chan Wildlife, has an Academic Advisor, congratulations. And the last one is Sykes Wenzwan, GPA 4.0, Academic Advisor, Professor Architect Dr. Lim Yek Wah. So congratulations all the year 2 students, keep your best momentum. And then we go to the Bachelor Architecture with Honours year 3. So we have Haja Umaira binti Muhammad Nasir, Academic Advisor Dr. Roshidah binti Abdul Majid. And the last one, Teo Wei Hong, GPA 4.0. The Academic Advisor is Dr. Nur Izrah binti Tukiman. So we go to the special award for excellent student, which is the best designer for year 1s. It goes to, drum roll, based on this work, I believe that you can guess who will be the best designer for year 1 is Siti Suraya Maisara binti Razali, work-based master, technologist Dr. Muhammad Faizal bin Abdurrani, grade A. And then special awards for excellent student for best designer year 2, this goes to Biodiversity Research Center, coexist with the nature, plant and animals, goes to Syed Wenzwan, work-based master, Dr. Technologist Dr. Dr. Lang Pao Chong. And then the second best designer for year 2 is Ong Kinsey, work-based master, same technologist Dr. Lang Pao Chong with the project Coastal Mangrove Research Center. And then for the best designer for year 3, it goes to Eric Neo Yong Yi, grade A, work-based master Dr. Lim Yong Long with the project's Blue Frontier. So I think that's all for me for today. For those who have winner all the awards, please claim your certs with me, or and I will give to you, and I will WhatsApp to you soon, or I will email to you all the certificate. Okay, so congratulations, stay inspiring, keep up the good momentum, and all the best to all the students. And I hope that it will inspire your juniors, your first year students to become a best designer or the best result for everyone. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Azalillah, for the announcement, and congratulations to all the BSc students listed. So congratulations to the name that have been announced. You guys did exceptionally well, and for those whose name are not being listed, don't worry much. You can prove it in this semester. Keep working hard and push yourself further, and God willing, your name will be listed next semester as well. Next, we have some announcement about 24-hour studio by our newest member of the department, Dr. Muhammad Izzat. Dr. Izzat, are you there?
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Izik, I'm here.
Okay, Dr. Izzat, room is yours.
Okay, thank you, Moderator, Dr. Izik. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Azalillah, just now. So today, I would like to announce about our 24-hour studio. As mentioned by Dr. Azalillah just now, this is where this semester studios will be. Studio year 1 will be at B05 level 4. Studio year 2 will be at B02 level 4. And then studio year 3, B05 level 3. And you can see for master students, they will be at B02 as well, level 3 and level 4. So please make sure that you know where your studio will be, so that you won't bother our BSc coordinator. And as you can see from here, there are 2 new spaces, Studio 24 Hours and exhibition as well. Exhibitions maybe will be different announcements, but today I would like to announce about Studio 24 Hours. So this is where it will be. It will be besides Studio Tahun 1, Year 1 studio at B05 level 4, as previously mentioned. As we might already knew previously, this is how it looks like before, with full of tiles that are flaking, timber floorings that are flaking and peel off. And then thanks to construction practice and outreach students, first year and third year direct intake, they have paint the studio so that we be still in white in color, but the featured wall is in green color, dark green. So this is the progress, previous 2 to 3 weeks ago, and then this is the current condition now. So the floor have been replaced by epoxy thanks to unit ruang, Fakulti Alam Bina dan Uko, FABU, and then this is where our student 24 hours will be. And the term of conditions in using the studio, there will be 70 workstation available. After calculations, we think that the best numbers to accommodate inside these spaces is 70 workstations. Means that on each wings, there will be, each space there will be 35 each. 35 on one side and then another 35 will be another side. And then secondly, it is on a first come and first serve basis. But then priority will be given to the graduating cohort, graduating batches. Means that third year and final year masters. But worry not, if they happen to have any left slot, other years are welcome to register as well. And then fourth access card will be given to those who registered. Means that there will be 70s access card. Means 70s access card, and then another 10 will be the surplus lah for the lecturers and for the unit ruang for UTM unit ruangs, so that they can oversee if there's any emergencies and so on. And then last but not least, please note that will be officially launched on the week 3, which will be on 30th of October to 3rd of November 2022. So this is the term and conditions. And then I would like to explain on the registration procedure. If any one of you happen to be interested in using the 24-hour studios, you may WhatsApp me and Architect Shahida directly in these numbers. And then we will give you the forms of letter undertaking or surat aku janji in Malay, and also registration forms. It will be a simple registration forms and a simple aku janji lah, don't worry not. And then you also need to WhatsApp together a bank account detail and copy of IC. Both of these might sound a bit hassle, but this is Bendahari UTM, I mean the procedure to claim the deposit. So if you have the form ready, you will get your deposit ready lah. Given that you take care of your belongings, I mean the faculty's belongings inside the studios. Okay, right. So fill up the forms, 2 forms, and then send the document as well. And then last but not least, access card will be given to those who registered lah, who fully registered, that fill up the forms, the documents within the 3 days of registration. So by week 3 to week 4, hopefully you can already use the spaces lah. So as the name implies, it is 24-hour studios. You can use the aircon, the electric, and so on inside the spaces lah, inside the dedicated spaces. Okay, right. This will be the form lah. So we will provide you the Google form, and then we will insert the studio, the lot number because there are 70 students, 70 dedicated workspaces, and then there are numbers in each of the lot so that we know who's going to be responsible in which lot. Then the student names, metric number, IC, year, application date, status, occupancy, and remarks, and so on. Okay, right. So this is the surat aku janji or letter of undertaking. So this is again to ensure that the students, the interested, will be use the spaces in most of the time. They will take care of the belongings of the faculties and our programs. They will make sure that it's clean, and it also to make sure that when they return it, it is in a not perfect, but it's still in one piece lah, I would say. But perfect would be a good way lah to so that you can get the full refund. 50 ringgit. So in terms of amount, 50 ringgit will be the deposit to use the spaces, and then another 50 ringgit will be non-refundable rent. So in total, there will be 100 ringgit. So if the belongings have been returned in the complete manners, you will get your 50 ringgit back, but another 50 will be just the rent for use in order to use the spaces. Please bear in mind, this is for whole semesters, 6 months plus minus. So it's really worth it, in my opinion, to pay 50 ringgit and another 50 for deposits. And then that's pretty much from me.
Dr. Izzat? Or is it my connection?
By week 3. At the moment, we were trying to install the frosted glass stickers, and that's pretty much it about Sudo 24 hours. Thank you, Moderator Dr. IZIQ.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Izzat, for the announcement. And for your information, Dr. Izzat is our first year coordinator. And for the first year students, you might want to contact Dr. Izzat if anything's up. And for the first year also, welcome to Program of Architecture, UTM. Okay. All right, it's time for our final break, and let us enjoy the montage from UTM Architect Association for promo and activities by our Architect President. Enjoy. Alip?
Okay, Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. So my name is Alif Maulidin bin Reza Syahrial. I'm the President of Architect for the year 2022 and 2023. So today we'll be showing you a short teaser corporate video of Architect. Uzma, you can share screen right now. Yeah, I think that's all from us. And for your information, we are also planning to do programs and events for our architect community in the future. And yes, we will work together to help the community through all the events and work. I think that's all from me. And please do follow us on Instagram at architect.utm. And can someone our committee share the link Instagram on the chat box? And we will keep updating our latest news through our social media platform. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Izik.
Okay, thank you very much, Alip. All right, I think we are almost at the end of our session, and I would like to say thank you to my team, Dr. PC, Dr. Zalila, Dr. Rashida, and Dr. Architect Nur Shahida for the announcements, and my colleagues for the involvement today. And also to the BSc and MArch students, welcome back, and also welcome to the new students. Good luck and all the best, like what Prof. Hamdan said lah. Okay, so with this, I end the session today with the UTM official song, Keunggulan Terbilang, and thank you very much everyone for the involvement. I'll see you guys later. For the third year students, I'll see you guys later at 2:30 p.m. at Studio B05 Level 3. Okay, so goodbye for now and have a good lunch. Assalamualaikum. Bye-bye for now.
bahasa, UTM sanjungan bangsa, UTM sanjungan bangsa.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Terima kasih semua. Have a nice good semester ahead. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Bye-bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Kak Liz.